Hi everybody, Peter Huapi here at GameDay headquarters in New London. I don't know about you guys, but everybody here at GameDay has definitely been missing high school sports. We were anxious to get out there for the spring sports season, and with that not happening, we started thinking back to some of the best games that we have seen throughout the years. We've been at this since the 2011-2012 season, and we are excited to bring to you tonight our first GameDay Classic. So we are going to flash back to the fall of 2013 when Middletown brought an unbeaten record into New London for a football game. I'm going to hand it over now to play-by-play announcers Mark Brown and Casey O'Neill. Please enjoy tonight's game.
On a cold and blustery night, but a great night for high school football in New London. This is the Connecticut Rental Center's pregame show. The Game Day on GameDay on theday.com. Hey, the Middletown Blue Dragons are in town to take on the New London Whalers. Unbeaten Blue Dragons at number 3 in the day top 10 poll. New London on a roll as well. They're 5-2, having won 4 straight games. Hi everyone, I'm Mark Brown alongside with New London grad Casey O'Neill, who's excited to be here tonight. We're very excited to be in the newly renovated press box here at Canamella Field, which has undergone a lot of renovations really up to the moment, and as a result, New London has not played a home game here at all this year, so a special night against a very tough opponent.
Absolutely. Tough to start your season at home with a team as quality as Middletown, undefeated, ranked 3rd in the state. But New London's excited because the play on the field didn't always mirror the quality of the facilities off the field, and now New London has taken great steps to upgrade these facilities. Beautiful press box, brand new bleachers, along with a field with new turf and these great lights. The players on New London deserve this kind of quality. They've got it, and now they've got a quality opponent tonight.
A lot to look forward to tonight, and for now we're going to go down to the 3rd member of our broadcast crew down on the sideline, Dave Edgecombe. Dave?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I'll be patrolling the sidelines all game long, bringing you any kind of injury updates or anything like that. Right now, I'm with Jessica Hopper, the day's social media coordinator, and she's going to clue you in on how you guys can stay in touch while watching at home.
At home, you can take part in the conversation on social media using the hashtag GameDayCT. We'll be sharing your tweets live throughout the broadcast and online at theday.com.
So be sure to give us some good stuff. Mark?
All right, thank you very much, guys, and there's going to be a lot to tweet about. There's no question about that. We can start with Middletown quarterback Dario Highsmith. He's a junior and the starter for the Blue Dragons since he was a freshman, but that shouldn't surprise anyone. He comes from a family of Middletown football stars.
Green, go.
A lot of people say, are you going to be like your father? Are you going to be like your uncle? And there's always those type of comments. So I guess there's a lot of pressure that comes with the name.
My senior year, 86, Dario came on the scene as a sophomore.
My father, Dario, Uncle Doug, and my Uncle Donald, and Uncle DeMont.
My first year of coaching, the youngest of the brothers, DeMont, was a senior, and he only scored 5 touchdowns in the state championship game.
My dad and uncle won in '87, and then my 2 other uncles won in '92.
So those 4 brothers really had a lot to do with, putting Middletown high football on the map.
I really didn't know how good they were until people started to tell me when I reached high school, when I started playing. Because they don't like to brag about what happened. They're really humble, but I just hear from what other people tell me. I actually started through the middle of the season my freshman year.
A little hesitant to put about a 14-year-old in there, but I knew this kid just had the football. He got the pedigree. You just know it. Some kids just have it.
It was one of, the hardest things that I've done because everybody's a lot bigger than you, and everybody's a lot older than you, faster, so you really have to play a little smarter than what you'd have to if you had more skills.
And I knew down the road, we were still young a couple years ago, and I had a feeling that if this group could stay together, we'd have a veteran group and he'd get that experience under his belt. And it's so far paid off.
We will be keeping our eyes on him tonight. It's going to be impossible to miss over 1,800 yards rushing and 21 rushing touchdowns this year. Dario Highsmith, the latest in a long line of Highsmiths. And watching that feature, first of all, the old pictures are great of all those great teams. But anyone who followed Connecticut high school football back then remembers that name, and that tradition lives on right now.
Oh, yeah, I remember the Highsmiths well. His father, Dario Sr., and his uncle, Doug, now 2 other uncles as well. They've all won state championships at Middletown, so, what kind of shoes are those to fill? But Dario Jr. has the opportunity to have history repeating itself with a Highsmith winning a championship at Middletown High School, and as only a junior, he's got 2 years to show what an elite quarterback he is.
So they're on track to perhaps do just that. Now, New London has a family affair of their own. Their quarterback, Danny Miranda, is the coach's son and it's starting quarterback in New London. That comes with an awful lot of pressure. Danny learned quickly to deal with that pressure when he was thrust into the role of last-minute emergency starter last year during his sophomore season.
His work ethic, his football savviness, what he puts into his craft of being a quarterback. He's constantly working at it, and whether it's watching film or any of those things, I think Danny has gotten the most out of what he was given, and he continues to try to build on that. I'm having a great time coaching him. I mean, it's just pride. I'm very proud of him. I know how hard he's worked, and but also in the same breath, I try to disconnect myself from being a father and to him on the field.
On the field, it's strictly football. Strictly football, and at home, it's family. If I have a question at home, I'd ask him.
But we try to separate it. Like, we have a nice 20, 25-minute ride home every night. So when we get home and walk through the door, we leave all that stuff behind. He has turned into a man. And yes, last year in the Ledger game, he was a young boy in a big game. And we had the conversation last year on the way home from that game. Nothing that you're going to be put into, besides maybe a state championship game, in the next 2 or 3 years of your high school career is going to be that pressure-packed as that game was when you didn't find out you were the starting quarterback until 5:30 the night before.
Pressure, because I didn't really know I was going to play. I was going to start that game until about 3 hours before the game. So I kind of had to get myself mentally prepared.
And here it is, the first live simulcast game all over the world, with NFL film crew and people interviewing you and mics. And so nothing that's going to happen over the next couple of years is going to equal that. It really is like a dream come true. I mean, I never saw it playing out this way, but I've always dreamed of, coaching in a place such as this, where the expectations are so high, and now to have him here as the quarterback on a great football team, and the kids really welcomed him. London is a very, very special place, and you really don't get to appreciate it until you're here.
Well, coaching your son, playing for your dad, that's what the Mirandas are living through. So far, Casey, how would you say it's going?
Well, we were there with theday.com last year at Ledred when that circumstance happened and he was thrust into the spotlight. He has matured an awful lot over the past year, and I think this year it's becoming his team. Only a junior, just like on the other side of things with Middletown's Dario Highsmith, a chance to make it his team over the next 2 years. He's come a long way.
Absolutely, and we're not too far away from the opening kickoff of Game Day on theday.com. We want you to share your tweets and Instagram pictures using the hashtag GameDayCT. Follow The Day on Instagram and Twitter at TheDayCT to see photos and updates from the sideline. We're working our way to the opening kickoff. The New London Whalers hosting the Middletown Blue Dragons on Game Day. Welcome back to Game Day on theday.com. Middletown Blue Dragons in town to take on the New London Whalers. Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill. Let's go down to the sideline where Dave Edgecombe has a very interesting story. Dave?
Thanks, Mark. Now, coaches have a hard enough time telling their players apart with their helmets on, but Middletown coach Sal Morella has an even tougher task with 2 sets of twins on his offensive line.
Anthony and David look like each other in a lot of ways, especially when they got helmets on. I don't know how many times I've looked at Anthony and started yelling, "Dave, you got to do this," and Anthony corrects me. Kevin and Derek sort of tend to let it go, but I'll call Derek Kevin all the time, Kevin Derek, and that's hard.
Actually, we're like complete opposites. Like, I'm like really social and he's kind of shy.
Well, I'm more like business. He's more like into arts, stuff like that. He's faster than me, but I'm quicker.
We both love football, obviously. We both play video games together, and like, it's kind of like a competitive thing in video games. That's the thing he gets competitive about, because he knows that I hate losing, and if he beats me, he kind of rubs it in.
We always try to beat each other, no matter if it's playing video games, playing basketball. We try to one-up each other.
David Bednarz is the only of the three returning on the offensive line. Him and Anthony seem to communicate, a lot better.
We're always on the same page. Like, we just click. Like when we get to the field.
Whenever I was playing next to him, I felt like we had better communication. First, when I got injured and he had to play with someone else, he said that there wasn't as much communication between them two. And then when he got sick and I had to play next to someone else, it wasn't as much communication.
And just ended up with Derek over there, and then Kevin ended up winning that right tackle spot as well. So that's how it just came about with the Bednarz on the left side, and we got the two Bonapartes on the right side.
We're triplets. We have a sister too.
And our middle name mine's actually Anthony, and it actually is David too.
So
it's actually.
Your parents gave you the same middle names.
Yes.
Yeah. And now Coach Morello told us on Wednesday night that this offensive line is a real strength of this team. Expect them to run the football, especially behind the Bednarz twins, all night tonight. Mark?
All right, thank you, Dave. And that is some serious size on the left side of that offensive line in the Bednarz twins. But there's been a bit of a reshuffle on that offensive line due to injury.
That's right. The starting center for Middletown, Jeff Woodcock, is out with an injury, and instead one of those Bonaparte boys is going to be in at center. And they don't lose a beat. He says they're perfectly ready to go, and the other will play at some time as well. So you will see all four of the twins on the field at the same time.
It is a powerful Middletown offense that has come to New London to take on the Whalers. It's game day on theday.com. This opening kickoff is just a few moments away.
Here at Middletown High, there's a winning tradition.
Middletown football is built on a legacy of champions.
I take pride in the jersey I wear and the legacy that I leave.
Most teams take the field and hope to win. But whenever New London takes the field, we expect to win.
When I'm playing for New London, I'm playing for something more.
You don't just play for the Blue Dragons, you play for Middletown.
For the city that I love and for the fans that support me.
And also the players and coaches that were here before you.
When we walk on that field, I definitely feel like I'm representing the town.
Our community is really invested.
It has everybody interested in what we're doing.
If we were to go out and lose a game, then I'm going to have to hear about it from people around town.
A lot of people are looking at you as if you are supposed to be someone.
The expectation is always to win state title.
Once you put on that green and gold, you're expected to play like a Whaler.
To come out with that swag and that confidence that no matter who you're playing or where you're playing, you're always ready to bring it.
When you play Middletown, you're going to know you got a game on your hands.
It's game day.
It's game day.
It's game day.
Welcome to Canamella Field in New London at New London High School for this third edition of Game Day on theday.com. The 5-2 New London Whalers hosting the unbeaten 8-0 Middletown Blue Dragons. And it is a very cold and blustery night, but it's not keeping the fans away, and we are happy to be here to bring you this live coverage of a great high school football matchup. And hello, everyone. I'm Mark Brown, along with Casey O'Neill, and this game is turning out to be a great one. Obviously, Middletown has title hopes. They're unbeaten. New London starting a little slow this year, but they are getting hot at the right time. There's an awful lot at stake for both teams.
Yeah, when Middletown saw this on their schedule in the beginning of the season, I'm sure that they thought they might get a 5-2 New London team, but maybe not the 5-2 the way it's occurred. New London getting off to that tough start, but really playing its best football right now. Coach Dwayne Miranda said they are gelling, they are coming together, and this is the best they have had practice all year long.
All right, it's now time for our MJ Sullivan keys to the game. Casey, I'm giving you the keys to your MJ Sullivan Cadillac right now. Start your engine.
All right, well, the keys for New London, no wasted downs. They cannot afford to not have productive plays. They want to speed the game up. They want the tempo to be fast, 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 and take the O out of Dario. In other words, don't let Dario Highsmith make those O plays on offense for Middletown. Now, Middletown's keys to the game, they're a little bit different because Coach Sal Morello says, we're not having any secrets from anyone. Stop us if you can. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run it off and put 9 in the box against us, but we're going to run. He has to get pressure with that 3-man front of the 3-4 defense that they like to run at Middletown. They're aggressive, and he likes to get pressure with those front three and weather the storm. In other words, he thinks New London's going to come out and try to throw some haymakers early, get some big plays, weather those first 5 minutes while their kids are excited in a big game like this. And I have it on good authority, Middletown plans to pressure quarterback Danny Miranda early and often.
Well, New London started the season 1-2, and this ECC power is working their way up. They're in the ECC large division, and right now in the Class L rankings, they're just outside of the top 10, so some serious work to do if they want to get in that playoff picture on the state Class L level in the CIAC. As for Middletown, they are sitting pretty. They just got to keep rolling.
Yeah, for New London, this is a must-win if they have any postseason aspirations, but a win here could vault them into the standings much, much higher. For Middletown, a loss here means they can't lose again the rest of the season.
As you can see, the players are ready to come out onto the field, and right now the New London Marching Band is also ready as they want to give their rendition of the national anthem. Not quite ready yet. So as the New London Marching Band continues to get ready, we can see the run out of the New London Whalers. As boy, when this season started off 1-2, there maybe were an awful lot of question marks as to what was going to happen this year. What do you think it was that has turned this team around and turned them into winning ways? 4 in a row coming into today.
Well, Coach Miranda said it was pretty simple, accountability. After that tough start, he got everybody together, coaches, parents, kids, and they said, no more excuses. We scheduled these tough games in the early going, and now we need to be accountable to each other, and that's what they've been.
As we honor America and those defending our freedoms with the playing of our national anthem, performing the anthem this season. Please
so now ready for the national anthem, the New London Band. Away here on Game Day on theday.com. Middletown versus New London is coming up next. The Middletown Blue Dragons have come to New London to take on the New London High School Whalers. Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill as we get ready for the opening coin toss. The Middletown captains coming across to meet the captains of New London. The referee in charge of today's event is Mike Taneski.
Jose is
Let's
the
listen
speaking
in.
captain for New London tonight. Julian, nice to meet you. Guys, shake up, introduce yourselves. Wish each other luck, please. Gentlemen, you guys are chosen as captains for a reason. You're here representing your team. We expect good behavior throughout. We have the flags for unsportsmanlike and personal fouls. We'd rather not use them for that. You guys, as leaders, you're going to help us control that, right? Middletown being the visiting team tonight, we'll call it in the air. I have a football, which is a head. I have the state of Connecticut, which is a tail, okay? When I throw it in the air, You're going to call it loud enough that Mr. Neely can hear it. You all set, sir? It's in the air.
Heads. Heads is the call.
The call was?
Heads.
Heads is the call. It is a head. You have won the toss. What would you like? They want the ball. And you would like to defend what goal? Okay. Back that way. Back this way. Middletown has won the toss and elected to receive. All right, gentlemen, shake them up. Wish each other luck. Good luck, gentlemen.
All right, so the visiting team, Middletown Blue Dragons, win the toss. They will take the football. And Casey, I'm sure you are not surprised at that. They want the football, and if it's up to them, they're going to have a lot of it today.
Yeah, the Middletown offense is pretty straightforward. They are going to run early and often, and they want to chew up a lot of clock. If Middletown has its way, they will hold this football for a good 8 minutes before New London sees it again. But as Coach Morello said, time of possession doesn't mean anything if you can't put points on the board. So they have to finish these early drives off of points.
And that is something that they've been able to do very well this year. Middletown averaging almost 39 points a game on the way to an 8-0 start. A pretty tough game, at least for them, against unbeaten Farmington last week. They only put 21 points on the board in that matchup, but then again, gave up only 7. They are only giving up single-digit points allowed to their opponents. So a huge matchup today for New London. If this Whalers team is for real, they've won the last 4 games, coming back from a 1-2 start. We are going to get a serious test to see just how for real they are with Middletown in town tonight.
Absolutely, and Middletown has been very clear. This is the most athletic and the fastest team that they have seen this year. New London has the athletes to match up with Middletown, and both coaches, interestingly, said the same thing, which is, we like our athletes. We'll take our chances getting the ball into the hands of ours versus theirs. So both coaches are ready to go and turn their guys loose.
Yeah, it's nice to hear about that. They're really thinking more about, hey, what do we do? If we do what we do, we like our chances. Chase Cook is the kicker. He'll do the kickoff duties for New London. Jacob Holmar, Jordan Baker, and Calvin Mackey are back deep for Middletown. It will go to Holmar at the 5-yard line. Gives a little fake and then takes it up the left side. Breaks a couple of tackles and has it out across the 25-yard line to about the 27, which is where the Blue Dragons will take over.
Homar, jack of all trades. He does not come off the field very often. He does the returns. He plays wide receiver, plays defensive back. He is everywhere.
And they will mark it just short of the 28-yard line, where Middletown will take over 1st and 10 behind a massive offensive line and a quarterback that is a serious playmaker. Dario Highsmith, the junior, 6 foot, 185 pounds. The ball will be in his hands a lot. And he takes the direct snap, tries to get to the outside, but that edge was contained very nicely out there. Jose Garcia, and he was not letting Highsmith get around the corner.
No, number 48 as well, Hunter Roman, who's one of their best players and also son of their defensive coordinator, Juan Roman, was on the edge, made Highsmith go out wide, and there was Garcia to clean it up.
Here's a look at that big offensive line. The Bednar's twins anchor the left side. Bonaparte, Derek moves into the center position for the injured Jeff Woodcock, who is one of the 4 captains for the Blue Dragons. And they are the skill position players there. Homar, who is also a kick returner. So they'll give him a gain of about 3 yards on the play. Sets up 2nd down and 7 at the Blue Dragon 31. And whistles coming in before we can get this one started. And a delay of game. Well, let us get our starting lineups in, but that's not the way that you want to start things if you're Sal Morello's side.
No, good defense there on the 1st down. Here we go, backed up a little bit. And for a team that likes to run the ball, they don't want to be going backwards.
2nd down and 12.
So 3 substitutions coming in for Middletown. And now, having been backed up to 5 yards, it'll set up 2nd down and 12. Now back at the 26 of Middletown. Shotgun snap for Highsmith. He's going to take it off the left tackle. Gets it out across the 30-yard line. Out to about the 33. And the defense for the New London Whalers, that is, as we look at some of their skill position guys, linebackers and defensive backs. Got some great speed in that secondary, as they do, and their wide receiving core. They play the 3-4 defensively, as does Middletown. They're down at about 5. Straight up the middle. It's going to be close to first down yardage. He needed to get to the 38-yard line. And it looks like he has it. They're going to move the chains.
And nothing fancy about that. You see Highsmith takes it and just goes right behind that big offensive line. And before Greg Newkirk could get his hands on him, he was already 3 yards forward, first down. And that's the time of possession, turning the clock. And that really wears a defense out as you go. New London trying to show some different looks, moving Hunter Roman around, trying to get some different looks for Middletown. But so far, Middletown is very straightforward.
39-yard line, 1st and 10. Highsmith continues to work out of the shotgun. This time he gives it to Jamal Jackson. Huge hole off the left side. He's inside the 30 and down inside the 20 before being taken out of bounds at the 18-yard line.
New London that time really respecting Dario Highsmith. They kept players with him. You see here, ball goes to Jackson and just speed to the corner. He outraces everybody till finally Nico Ramos gets him down the sideline. And Coach Morello told us that he is a beast. He is finally getting healthy and he likes his chances.
A 43-yard run for Jamal Jackson. Middletown working quickly, just pushing it in behind that huge offensive line.
Nothing fancy about what Middletown's doing so far. Just pushing the pile and running the ball straight up the middle. So far, they're doing it in between the tackles, which is what opened it up that time for Jackson on the outside, showing his speed. But Coach Morello said Jackson is finally healthy and he is a beast. And we saw right there the power and the speed.
8 yards on that last carry for the Blue Dragons. 2nd down and 2 from the 10-yard line. This time they give it to Jackson up the middle. He's inside the 5, but a flag flew just as soon as that play got underway.
See what the officials have here. Looks like they're going to back Middletown up.
Got a sideline warning, Middletown. Sideline warning, Middletown.
Well, you heard it there, a sideline warning on Middletown. And I don't know exactly what the concern is with the Middletown sideline, but you see our official over there speaking to the coaches. Perhaps the coach was out of the designated coaching box that they have on the sidelines. You can see there he was pointing down to his feet saying that he wasn't outside of the box. Right there's a great shot of it. Those lines indicate where a head coach can and cannot go. They can't just roam the sideline. They have to stay within that box, and they're giving the warning that he was outside of it.
So no penalty. The play stands. 1st and goal from the 5. Highsmith blasting forward, and he is in for the opening score of the game. Dario Highsmith with his 22nd rushing touchdown of the year and a chance to go up 7-0 for the visitors.
And that was pretty easy, actually, after the initial loss. Middletown just running in between tackles behind that big offensive line. Direct snap to Highsmith. You see him running right behind the Bednars there, plowing in, and he's not touched until he's in the end zone by the linebackers. If it's going to be that easy all night, New London is in for a long day.
Van Ook is the kicker, and he drills through the extra point for the 7-0 lead. We are told that Ook has range out as far as 45 yards. He doesn't often get opportunities because they score so many touchdowns. Here's the last one.
You see right there, that's just offensive line push before Brandon Harrington could even get, before New London's David Medina could even get to Highsmith. He was already in the end zone. That big offensive line just exerting its will on the undersized Whalers. And, Coach Miranda said, everyone says our defensive line is undersized, but you can't measure the size of our hearts. We play bigger. Well, they're going to have to play bigger because right there the size was evident.
So Middletown, after a 72-yard drive for their opening score of the game. Van Ook to kick off. And one man back deep, Jose Garcia. They don't want any part of kicking it to him. Oh my goodness, this could be recovered by Middletown. It is! They popped up the kickoff on purpose to keep it away from Garcia. The added bonus, it bounced backwards and was recovered effectively as an onside kick by Middletown.
What a mistake that time by the Whalers, not knowing what to do. You see the kick pumped in the air. They wanted no part of Garcia, but the interesting hop, it looked like it was going to go out of bounds right in front of New London's Mike Commander, but it bounced back into play. He thought it was going out of bounds, but instead heads up on the spot that time by Middletown. Hunter Belzo, the sophomore, recovering, and Middletown in business, ready on great field position, already up 7-0.
A mistake that New London could ill afford to have, and now they're in trouble with Middletown, that powerful offense with the ball again, giving it up at their own 33-yard line as Jackson just took a couple down to the 31.
That time, Ashai Harkness, the linebacker for New London, number 24, who is their leading tackler, shot the gap and got a clean hit on Jackson. But the big momentum of Jackson, he's so hard to stop. He's big body behind a big offensive line. New London defensive coordinator Juan Roman right there is going to definitely try to figure something out here, how to stop this very strong and very large Middletown offense.
Gain of 2 on the play, now 2nd and 8 from the 31. Highsmith keeps it himself, has room, blasting forward, has first down yardage, down inside the 25, taken down at the 22-yard line.
And just too easy right now. These yards coming, you see great hole there on the left side. Highsmith into the secondary before Leo Clinton can get in there and wrap his arms around him. 5 and 6 yards of clip, that time first down for Highsmith. 23-yard line, Middletown first down here, and they are knocking on the door already.
Highsmith will keep it himself off the left side. And he's got it down to about the 15, maybe just short to the 16, so more great yardage on first down.
And, you know, Middletown said, we're going to run the ball. It doesn't matter if you put 9 in the box against us. You see this time Leo Clinton getting picked off by the right guard on a pull, and Highsmith getting into the secondary before he's even getting touched. And if it's going to be this easy, Middletown is going to they're never going to put the ball in the air. You won't see a pass tonight. It's hard for people to understand when they just keep doing the same thing over and over again, that it's just not easy to stop when they have the size and the athleticism that Middletown possesses.
Now the Bednarz twins have been moved to the right side of the formation here as they take it forward. They only needed about 3 yards for the first down as they got the 7 on first.
Trey Scott shot the gap that time for New London. Got in there, and it will be just short, so it will be third down. And here's a big stand for New London, but Middletown's going to run the ball twice here. If they don't get the first down on third down, they're just going to go right back and run it again on fourth down. Trying to stop them twice for no gain is really a difficult task.
Third and much less than a yard, maybe about a foot. Highsmith keeps it himself. He's got the first down, diving forward to about the 11-yard line. As we look at the clock, 5:51 to go in the first quarter, and the New London offense has not had their hands on the football.
Uphill so far. Highsmith, you can see already 47 yards rushing and that touchdown on his way to another 100-yard game or more. And the thing about this for New London right now is you just got to get your feet underneath you. You want your offense back on the field, so you got to make a stand here. Maybe hold them to a field goal. You never know what happens when high school kids attempt field goals, but you get down 14-0, and it is going to be a very difficult task.
Ball spotted closer to the 12-yard line, 1st and 10. Jacob Homar is split out wide to the near side. Faking up the middle, Highsmith blasting forward and is into the end zone again. His 2nd touchdown of the game, and Middletown just dominant in the first 10 minutes here in New London.
Well, that one was all Dario Highsmith on the read option. He had the chance to give the ball to Jamal Jackson. It was actually in Jackson's stomach. He pulled it out, seeing that he had it.
Procedure, not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Middletown, 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
Well, that's a big penalty right there, negating that touchdown. Middletown with not enough guys on the line of scrimmage. Going to take away the touchdown and back them up 5 yards and give New London second life. because that was a great play by Dario Highsmith on the read option. He gave the ball to Jackson, pulled it out, and then broke a couple of tackles and got into the end zone. New London giving a second life here, so see if they can take advantage of it.
Another line of scrimmage back out to the 17-yard line. 1st and 15. Just one back with Highsmith, and he gives it to him. Pushing forward inside the 15-yard line down to the 14. That was Jamal Jackson, who's already had a 43-yard run today to set up that first score.
What a big body Jamal Jackson is. He's got great speed, as we saw with that run down the sideline, but he's also powerful, big legs, always churning forward. That time he dragged Hunter Roman for another additional yard. But this is the best position that New London has been in as far as stopping them on this drive. It's at least a 2nd and long.
2 wide receivers in the set this time for Highsmith. Low snap, he's going to take it left. Turns it upfield quickly, and there he is into the end zone, and this one will count. A 14-yard touchdown run, and Middletown leads 13-0.
That time Highsmith broke the tackle of New London's leading tackler, Shea Harkness. He had him in the backfield. Excuse me, he had him right over the line of scrimmage, but showing the power and strength along with the elusiveness and speed. Dario Highsmith, 2nd touchdown of the game, and Middletown with an opportunity to make this thing 14-0 here in the early going.
Van Ook is on to try the extra point. No doubt about it. So an impressive 2 drives for the Middletown Blue Dragons. The first 72 yards. The second one only needed to be 33 after the inadvertent onside kick. It's 14-0 Middletown. Share your tweets and Instagram pictures using the hashtag GameDayCT. Follow the day on Instagram and Twitter at TheDayCT to see photos and updates from the sidelines. Been all Middletown so far here on GameDayOnTheDay.com, as the New London offense has yet to get their hands on the football. Last time Van Ook kicked a designed high-popping kick to the near side. It was recovered by Middletown. We'll see what he does. Tries the same thing again. This time it will be taken at the 25-yard line. A flag flies in as a big hit was made by Hunter Belzo. He was the guy who recovered the onside.
Let's see what the flag is. I think he called for a fair catch.
And then ran. Huh?
And then ran with the football, which is what I believe happened. He saw the ball go in the air. See what the officials have to say.
Yep. Delay a game. That's a delay a game. Green.
Yeah, I think they're going to say that Mike Commander signaled for the fair catch, thinking that that was the similar situation to on the onsides before, and ended up running with the football. So New London will, however, have its first possession of the ball game, and an unhappy Coach Dwayne Miranda on the sideline.
1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Danny Miranda, the quarterback, and he'll throw immediately out to the right side, complete. Jose Garcia, who's got near first down yardage, and we're going to see a lot of that using those athletes out on the edge.
Yeah, they're going to use Nico Ramos and Jose Garcia along with Jelani Lucas and Leo Clinton as often as possible. Get the ball into their speed guys and get them out in space.
No huddle for New London. Only gave him 5 yards on that play as he stepped out of bounds. 2nd and 5. This time the pitch to Park, but he put it on the ground, and it looks like Middletown has the ball.
Nope, New London.
New London's got it.
Somehow, Oren Park fell on that football. You never know what happens once the ball's on the ground with all those bodies around. It probably changed hands a couple times. But now a 3rd and long for New London, and an important conversion here in the early going.
3rd down and 9, so a loss of 4 yards on that botched exchange. Miranda, straight drop, looking over the middle, has a man, complete. has to break several tackles and gets it out near first down yardage, but he is going to be a little bit short. That was Nico Ramos on the catch and run. Let's take a look at the New London offense. We know about their 4 wide receivers. Sometimes they'll even go empty and have 5. Oren Park is the man who'll get the bulk of the carries. As we look at the offensive line, anchored by Connor Heap. This is a young offensive line for New London. So they'll be in punt formation on 4th down and 2. It's Jelani Lucas, the junior, who will kick it away. Left-footed kick, low liner, and takes a Whalers bounce. This is going to work out pretty nicely for New London as it rolls dead at the 28-yard line of Middletown with 2:47 to go in the first quarter. The Blue Dragons of Middletown with a 14-0 lead over New London. Well, Dario Highsmith is a man who's got the ball in his hands all game long, and he's done a lot of damage with it.
2 early touchdowns, breaking tackles, showing speed, elusiveness, determination. He is everything that was advertised. The next Highsmith at Middletown High School.
And we'll see what they've got in store here. Dario Highsmith and the big offensive line in front of him has done a lot of damage here in the first quarter. This time he'll hand off. Jamal Jackson, great yardage out off the right side. He's out over the 40-yard line. Out to the 42.
New London just with no answers for the 1-2 punch of Highsmith and Jackson. You know, the very first play of the game, they tried to go wide, and New London's speed with Jose Garcia shut off the edge. And since then, it's been pretty clear that they're just going to rely on the size of that offensive line. Chewing up yardage, and another Middletown first down.
1st and 10 from the 42. Highsmith will keep it himself off the right side, turns it upfield out across the 45 and down to the 47-yard line.
Better push that time by the New London defense, but even with that push, still a 5-yard gain for Highsmith. It seems like they can get 5 yards a clip doing just about anything they want to do right now. No answers from the New London sideline just so far.
And pretty much as Sal Morello prescribed it, they're going to keep running behind that big offensive line. And for the most part, no one in the state so far this year through 8 games has been able to stop them. Low snap, and then to give to Jackson. Well, that was a good defensive push there by the defensive line of New London. No gain on the play.
Yeah, you see a big Hunter Roman coming up from the pile along with Oscar Calcano, and that time it was just a heavy push inside, early interior pressure. Great job by the young defensive line that time of the New London Whalers. Calcano only a sophomore.
So 3rd down and 5, a big spot here for the New London defense. They need to get the ball back for their offense here. Three receivers in the formation this time for Highsmith. He's going to keep it himself. And he is stuffed. He gets a yard or 2, but no more. And he is short of the first down.
A shy Harkness that time, shooting the gap, coming up from his linebacker position, and this time he did not miss the tackle. Great tackle that time by Harkness, getting Highsmith before he could get a couple more yards, because if it was 4th and 1, I could see Middletown going for it. But with 4th and 4, we're going to see their first punt of the game. And I promise you right now, they will not punt this football to Jose Garcia.
Van Ook, who is the place kicker, is punting today. The normal punter, Austin Meeker, injured and will not be available today. So we'll see how Ook does. We know he's got a great leg as a place kicker. And he hits a low liner right to Garcia. And Garcia takes it up the middle, out across the 30-yard line to the 32, which is where New London will take over. So the defense does the job on the 3rd Middletown possession. And we'll see if New London can get something going here at the end of the first quarter. You're watching Game Day on theday.com. Middletown versus New London. And on a very cold night at Canamella Field in New London, home of New London High School, and the Whalers having a rough time through one quarter against the 8-0 Middletown Blue Dragons. Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill. The teams have just switched sides as we start quarter number 2. And the New London defense has come up with their first stop of the game. Second possession now for the New London offense. Danny Miranda in the shotgun. Fakes to Orrin Park. No, he gave it to him. And Park's got great room. He's out near midfield as he busts it out to the 48-yard line. 16 yards on the carry.
You see Park takes it down, sweeps to the left, breaks an early tackle there. That was the key to that, then cuts it up to the second level to the interior, breaking the tackle of linebacker Cody Carrillo, one of the best linebackers and defensive players on the Middletown team.
Orrin Parks rushed for 841 yards and 10 touchdowns this year. Saw his first real daylight on that one, and a flag flies in. The Middletown defense is clapping.
It's going to be against New London.
Dead ball, snap infraction, offense, 5 yards, center, picked it up.
I appreciate the official letting us know exactly what happened right there. The center is not allowed to move the football and pick it up like that. They can adjust it, but they can't lift it.
Miranda waiting for the play to be signaled in from the New London sideline. After being backed up to 5 yards, 1st and 15 from their own 48. Check that, from their own 43-yard line. Here's Park to the right side, looking for running room. Play is strung out nicely by the Blue Dragons defense, and he is stopped at the 40-yard line. A loss of about 3 yards on the play. Haven't had a chance to tell you much about that Middletown Blue Dragon defense because they haven't been on the field very much, but they play a 3-4, and they've got a monstrous and tough and experienced defensive line as well as 4 linebackers.
As good as the offense of the Blue Dragons has been, it's Coach Morello's pride and joy. The defense, he says they've got one of the best defenses. They're aggressive. They're super strong in the 3-4, and he credits defensive coordinator that he brought over from Berlin for that.
Quick pass out to the right side. Good yardages are getting some of those lost yards via penalty and run loss back as Jose Garcia, who's caught a couple of balls so far today, came in with 25 catches, 9 of them for touchdowns for the senior captain.
He is electric. You know, I was mentioning Josh Rovac. He is the defensive coordinator of Middletown. He's a Middletown guy who was in Berlin coaching for a while, and Coach Morello could not credit him enough with the aggressiveness and technique that he brought to this 3-4 defense of the Dragons, being put to their biggest test of the year against the speedy Whalers.
3rd down and 7, just across midfield for New London. Play action for Miranda. He's flushed out to his right. He's going to run, but not very far. He is tripped up as he approached the 45-yard line, and a flag flying in late on the New London sideline.
Jamal Jackson that time tripped up Miranda as he was about to get to the corner. We'll have to see what this flag is.
They had him marked at the 46, which would set up a 4th down and about 4 yards. Sal Morello does not look happy.
He wants to know what the flag is too, shaking his head. This would be a huge 1st down. Defensive holding against Middletown.
We have a dead ball. Sideline warning, New London. That's their first.
Okay, so the defensive penalty, which will be marked off for the 1st down for New London. And New London now has received their first sideline warning. We saw that on the opening drive of the game from Middletown on the other side.
You know, I've not seen that often called, but clearly the officials want to keep hold of this thing on the early going. They've given a warning to both sides. But more importantly, for New London, a 1st down when they would have been facing 4th down thanks to the defensive holding penalty against Middletown. And New London now in their first scoring opportunity inside the 40-yard line.
37-yard line, 1st and 10. Garcia comes in motion. And again, flags before the play gets underway. That was a design handoff for Park. There's been a handful of penalties on both sides, but New London really cannot afford these kind of penalties given the opponent and the hole that they've dug for themselves.
Yeah, Middletown's too good for New London to do anything but play a near perfect game. Certainly the mistakes they've made so far, penalties, the onside kick that they didn't recover. So far they have done a couple of things to hurt themselves, and you just can't let a team as good as Middletown have extra opportunities.
So they back themselves up once again. First down and 15 now from the 42-yard line of Middletown. Miranda rolling left and looking left. He's got a man complete inside the 35-yard line. That is Nick Ramos, his second catch of the game. Nico Ramos.
Nice time by Miranda rolling to the opposite weak side, which is very difficult for a right-handed quarterback. Throwing a strike to Ramos, who's one of the other speed guys along with Garcia, getting back all of the penalty yards and about 4 more, making it a shorter, manageable second down.
Second down and 6. From the 38-yard line. Here's Orrin Park with room off the right side. Cuts it up and gets it down to the 22-yard line. Orrin Park on a couple of occasions has had a gap, and he's taken advantage.
You know, Middletown linebacker Cody Carrillo had that play sniffed out and looked like he was sealing it. Watch number 11 coming in from the left side of your screen. Cody Carrillo had it sealed right there, but Park got through before he could completely seal it, and the speed and burst of Orrin Park gives New London the first down.
There is an injured New London player on the play, number 73, Sean Brown, being attended to.
And that's another thing that New London cannot afford. They are thin. That is, they have a very young offensive line. Brown is only a sophomore, and they cannot afford any more injuries on the offensive line. They are thin and young there as it is, and we'll have to root for that young man to be okay. You see Orrin Park, the senior leader of New London's rushing attack.
Coming up at halftime, the MJ Sullivan halftime show. We'll have stats and highlights, reports from Dave Edgecombe down on the sideline, talk to the coaches. All coming up at halftime on the MJ Sullivan halftime report. Miranda pitches to Park, right side. And a swarming Middletown defense stops him at the 20 after a gain of 2.
Sam Rivera that time really finished off the tackle. It was a swarming effort, as you said, Mark, by the Middletown defense, and Rivera cleaned it up that time. You know, Park doesn't see a lot of action, sometimes as few as 10 carries a game, but averaging over 8 yards a carry, and has really turned it up in these last games.
He'll be a big part of the MJ Sullivan halftime report. We got a good feature on him. Now the reverse for Garcia. He's got some room to run off the left side. First down and more inside the 10-yard line, and the Whalers are threatening.
Garcia that time got some help on the reverse from number 12, Nico Ramos. What a great block. Number 12 just got in the way. You see right there, Garcia, he needed to get to the outside. There's Ramos laying the block on number 22, Hunter Belzo. First down, New London.
From the 8-yard line, first and goal. Miranda under pressure, and he is swallowed up back at the 17 for the sack.
Anthony Bednarz, one of the twins.
6'7", 275 pounds, and he was not alone.
Initial pressure on the edge that time by Julian Caraway, forcing Miranda to step up, and there was Bednarz to clean up, and that's a big play, pushing New London back.
Back to the 16-yard line, second and goal. Here comes another blitz. Gets away quickly to Garcia, and it's set up beautifully, and he goes in for the score. Touchdown, New London.
Oh, Middletown got caught in a blitz. They sent everybody that time, and a quick strike from Miranda to Garcia, and the speed of Jose Garcia, but we have a flag. Touchdown is good. Personal foul.
Late hit. Middletown. When do you want it?
Middletown has a personal foul, late hit against Middletown. The touchdown is good. New London can take that on the kickoff if they want it, but that was just a well-designed play. Middletown shot everybody, came in on an all-out blitz that time. Perfect play call by New London. Quick strike to Garcia. The speed took over, and there's the big strike. New London back in this thing.
Garrett Burdick is on to try the extra point. It is good. So New London, after getting their first defensive stop of the game, goes 70 yards on a sustained drive. An impressive 16-yard touchdown pass from Danny Miranda to Jose Garcia has them on the board and right back in this ball game. You're watching Game Day on theday.com. Nights in New London. The crowd has slowly but surely been filing in. They've come in at the right time as New London really got together on a great drive, and with that penalty that was on the end of the touchdown, 15 yards has been assessed on the kickoff, so New London will kick off from the 45-yard line of Middletown. Chase Cook will kick it away. Omar Baker and Mackey are back deep for Middletown. And it is a good kick right back to the 3-yard line, where it's taken by Jordan Baker. Big pileup outside the 15, down at about the 17. So the penalty, field position-wise, really hurting Middletown.
Yeah, with 8 minutes left, Middletown would be content going down the length of the field and scoring right before halftime. And if you're New London, you got momentum going on your side right now. You stood up last time defensively, you scored offensively. Now it's time to get your defense back out there. Middletown, I can tell you right now, they're going to go right back up the middle. They're going to run the ball between the tackles, and they're going to say, you did it once, but now do it again.
We'll see if they can. We know they're going to try. And for the first time, we actually saw New London get to deploy some of the things that they like to do. They got it in the hands of their athletes and had some success.
Absolutely. Great play calling. Middletown had blitzed on the previous play, sacked Miranda, went back to the blitz again and got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. New London with a quick slant out to Garcia, taking over that speed, and you could see he had 4 blockers and no defenders. Yeah. He was avoiding his own players in order to get there.
Good spot to be in. A whistle before the snap.
Delay a game. White, 5 yards, repeat the down, first down.
All right, so the line of scrimmage was the 18. They'll go back 5 yards to the 13. By far the worst field position of the day for Middletown. Still with the 7-point lead, 8 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the second quarter. Another flag flying.
Come on, let's go, what we done.
I think it's going to be a legal procedure. False start against Middletown.
Dead ball. False start. White. 5 yards. Repeat first down.
Well, that's tough when you haven't even hiked the football yet and you've lost 10 yards.
They're back to the 8-yard line now. First down and 20. Two backs with Highsmith. Just puts his head down and gets out across the 15 to the 16-yard line. A gain of 3 on the play.
It was fascinating that time. New London's defensive leader, Hunter Roman, was grabbing defensive linemen and pulling them into the position he wanted them in to get them in the appropriate gaps that time. And that was because he saw the run was coming right into a gap. He pulled the defensive lineman there pre-snap, and a good job on the first down by New London. Middletown has 2 plays here, and they are backed up.
So second down and about 17 yards. It's Highsmith again, straight up the middle, but not much running room on those last 2 attempts. Let's go down to the sideline where Dave Edgecombe has an update. Dave?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I just talked to the trainer, Sean Brown, the injured Whaler, number 73, that came off the field. Sprained knee. He is done for the night. So that's bad news for an already thin offensive line.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Hopefully he'll be okay, but no more action for Sean Brown this evening for New London. 3rd and 17 yards. Highsmith is going to throw for the first time, and he's going deep down the field. Incomplete, intended for Jacob Homar.
Well, you had a couple of things going on there. New London did get some late pressure, which did not allow Highsmith to step into that throw as much as he would like to. But I think the biggest difference is Middletown's used to Jacob Homar running away from the people in the secondary, and that time he was covered by Jose Garcia, and Garcia was there stride for stride. Middletown does not like to throw the ball in downs when it's expected that they throw. New London said they want to make Middletown do what they're uncomfortable doing. There was an example of that, and they will get the ball in good field position.
How comfortable is Van Ook, the backup punter, from his own goal line? He gets the punt away, end over end, takes a big Middletown bounce. This is going to work out fantastic. Not only does Garcia not get his hands on it and return it, but a big roll that takes it all the way back to the 38-yard line of New London.
You know, a little tentative that time, the Whalers were. You got your playmakers out there, Ramos and Garcia. Rather than stepping up and trying to take that ball on the fly and make a big play, they let the ball hit the ground and backed them up. It's just a little bit tentative. They are good playmakers. Any chance they have to get their hands on the ball, New London wants them to have it.
6:39 to go in the second quarter. And the second consecutive stop for the New London defense, and another flag flying in. This has been a real problem for both sides as they've had trouble just initiating their snaps.
I think both head coaches, I see the same look on the Middletown sideline. Both coaches kind of curious as to where these are coming from. And I am not one to be critical of an officiating crew, but what I would say is it's clear that these officials are going to call this. So both sidelines need to figure out pretty quickly what they need to do, because they're going to make these calls.
So 1st down and 15. The line of scrimmage, the 33-yard line of New London. Single back for Miranda. He gives it to Park. Park coming off the right side across the 40-yard line, taken down at the 41. So a gain of about 7, maybe 8 yards on the play. 6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. You're going to want to keep it here for the MJ Sullivan halftime report. We'll have stats and highlights. Hear from the coaches. Dave Edgecombe will bring you a very interesting story about Oren Park, who has just carried the ball and who's had a good game so far tonight. Oh, this time the reverse to Garcia is sniffed out and snuffed out. Great job by Middletown's defense.
Cody Carrillo, number 11. You see him shooting there, and he gets there just as Garcia gets the ball. He gets by the block that time. Number 12, Nico Ramos, didn't get to him in time, and Carrillo with a big play, making a 3rd and long for New London.
Carrillo, senior captain, outside linebacker. 3rd down and 14. Miranda dumps it down quickly for Nico Ramos, and Ramos has decent yardage out past the 40-yard line, but it won't be nearly enough. 4th down and long coming up for New London.
Looks like the Middletown defense did what it needed to do there, holding against the Whaler offense, forcing New London to punt. Jelani Lucas will come on, and we'll see what kind of field position Middletown has. Clearly, Middletown benefited from good field position early. The last time they were pinned back deep.
Jelani Lucas, a wide receiver who does the punting duties, the left-footed punter for the Whalers. No pressure here, and he gets the punt away. High and short, and angling out of bounds at the 34-yard line of Middletown.
34-yard line, where the Blue Dragons will start 1st and 10.
Good field position for Middletown, right in the middle of the field where they're comfortable. And with 5.5 minutes left, they'll be looking for a nice sustained drive. Best drive was the first drive, and the worst drive was the last one. So Middletown trying to find some equilibrium here in that offense. New London, having held them 2 consecutive drives now, have they figured something out is going to be the question.
And Daryl Highsmith and that big offensive line will try to answer that question. 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. 14-7 Middletown with the lead. Highsmith taken down after a gain of 1.
Great tackle by 22, Leo Clinton. Leo Clinton, the son of Leo Clinton, class of 1989, New London High School football player himself. We talked about the family dynamic on both of these teams. Well, Leo Clinton, I know his father and his uncle are watching proudly right now on theday.com, and Leo did a great tackle. Anytime you can stop Dario Highsmith one-on-one like that and prevent him from getting out into the open, a big tackle by Clinton. And Middletown not comfortable in these second and longs.
1989, one of the 5 state championships for the New London Whalers. And a timeout, Middletown, with 4:43 to go in the second quarter, facing second down and 9.
You know, second and long is not what any team wants to be in offensively, but for a team like Middletown, which is much more comfortable running the football than it is throwing, those second and longs really limit what they can do. It looks like New London has almost gone to like a goal line defense where they're putting all their guys up in the box, trying to get some clutter and relying on their speed, relying on their athletes to make tackles on the perimeter. And that's what's been successful for them so far. Not a lot of teams have the ability to rely on their athletes on the perimeter. Highsmith and Jackson are faster than most of the other teams that they're facing, so New London relying on its athletes like it said it was going to.
Yeah, working pretty well. We invite you to share your tweets and Instagram pictures using the hashtag GameDayCT. Follow The Day on Instagram and Twitter at TheDayCT to see photos and updates from the sideline. Also, tweet us your thoughts. What do you think the key to victory is so far for either of these teams? And right now, New London has definitely stemmed the tide. Once again, making a nice stop here after a gain of just about 3, setting up third down and 6. This once powerful Middletown attack that led to 2 early touchdowns has been stalled somewhat, and you got to give a lot of credit to that Whalers defense.
Well, they went to a little different look that time. 2 wideouts right, and they went option. Sal Fazzino, the other running back for Middletown, got the pitch because Roman went right after Highsmith. Hunter Roman absolutely put the pressure, made Highsmith get rid of the ball early to Fazzino, and then Leo Clinton cleaned up at linebacker, third and long.
Actually, they've backed it up a bit. It's more like 3rd and 7 from the 37-yard line.
And a flag. This has been traditionally a false start. Let's find out what the officials have going here now. They're pointing to New London.
Timeout White, timeout White.
So all that, and it is a timeout Middletown, so no penalty. Well, this game started off fast and furious, particularly for Middletown. They went 72 yards on their opening drive. Big play was a 43-yard run by Yamal Jackson, but then it was polished off by Dario Highsmith, the 5-yard touchdown run, an inadvertent onside kick. And we had Highsmith scoring again, this time from 14 yards. And before New London even had their hands on the football, they were down 14-0. But when they did finally get things going, it was a 16-yard touchdown pass from Danny Miranda to Jose Garcia to tighten this one up. And you know, those are the scores, but the momentum change that occurred after those first 2 scores from Middletown has a lot to do with whatever adjustments New London has made.
Yeah, if you had said to me that New London would have held them on 2 consecutive series and have them in a third and long, I would have said no way. It looked way too easy in the first 2 drives, a tale of 2 different games so far.
We'll see if they can come up with the big play defensively here on 3rd down and 7. From the 38-yard line, Middletown with their offense stalling for the moment. Can they get it back going? Highsmith to throw, under pressure. And he is sacked. Meat at the quarterback. Half the team for New London is there to stop that drive.
Oh, big Hunter Roman, number 48, leading the charge for New London. He got there first. Off the end, you see him coming from his right end position. He splits the gap, wraps up Highsmith, and then it was feast on the quarterback. A big stop for New London, and they will get the ball back.
4th down and 12. Van Ook is at his 20-yard line, ready to punt this one away. And a liner. A bobble from Garcia, and he is hit as he bobbles it. Somehow he maintained possession of that football.
Jamal Jackson, he is all power. We saw what he can do when he's running the football. That time he came down, and one thing that Coach Morello says, he does not take his kids off the field. They play defense, they play offense, they play special teams. He says, I take criticism for that because, my guys could get hurt, but my best players are going to be on the field as often as possible.
Good example of it there. 37-yard line, 1st and 10. 3:05 to go in the second quarter. New London trailing 14-7 to Middletown, but with the ball back, having stopped the Blue Dragons on 3 straight possessions. Orrin Park still on his feet. Oh, he nearly broke free of that pile.
Cody Carrillo that time saved what could have been a huge gain by Orrin Park. Middletown thought they had him wrapped up on the interior. Park so tough, legs never stopping, bounced it to the outside, and if he could have gotten past the tackle of Carrillo, he could have had a big gain. You see, never quite sealed off. He bounces it here. There's the daylight, and oh!
Setting up the screen out to the left side. And again, just getting back to the line of scrimmage, Nico Ramos.
Middletown doing a nice job now sealing off those quick screens. New London loves to run the quick wide receiver screens, those interior screens, bubble screens, but Middletown doing a nice job so far getting their traffic there, so no running room for the Whalers.
3rd and 10 from the 38. Clock ticking down to 2 minutes to go in the first half. And Miranda still waiting for the play to come in. 4 wide and Park in the backfield. Play action. Miranda has to step up. Running to his left. And he will not get first down yardage, taken down at just outside the 40-yard line. So it'll set up about a 4th down and about 6.
Bednarz and Carrillo that time putting on the pressure. Carrillo cleaning up with great closing speed to nail the quarterback. And with about a minute and a half left, Middletown will get one more crack at the end zone before the end of the half.
Jelani Lucas back to punt for New London. And Jacob Homar is back to receive, standing at his 20-yard line. Now he comes up to the 25. Lucas gets the punt away. A long spiral angling towards the sideline, and now rolling dead at the 28-yard line, which is where Middletown will take over with 1:29 to go in the first half.
Now remember, Middletown they won the toss and they chose to receive. So New London will be getting the ball in the second half. So right now, the priorities for these two teams are simple. For Middletown, you're comfortable going into the half with a lead, so you don't want to turn the ball over here deep in your territory. If you can get down and score, that's gravy. Remember, they love the distance of the foot of that kicker, so maybe they can set up for a long field goal here. If you're New London, knowing you're getting the ball to start the second half, you're comfortable going in down 14-7. It's important that you just don't give up a big play.
Keep it here for the MJ Sullivan halftime report just as soon as the second quarter is over, but still 1:29 to go. Empty backfield for Dario Highsmith. He comes to the near side. Flags are flying everywhere as he gets out to about the 30-yard line. 3 flags down at the moment.
That play was sort of ugly from the beginning. Never had a real flow to it. We'll see what the officials say, but that's usually against the offense.
Middletown, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
An illegal shift that time against Middletown will back them up 5 yards. Middletown not comfortable going empty backfield, not comfortable putting the ball in the air on downs when it has to. They'd much prefer to run the ball and throw it when you're loaded up against that run. So backed up here with 1:22 left. If they're not careful, you'll see New London use some timeouts and try to get the ball back.
First down and 15.
So with the 5-yard, backing it up to the 23-yard line, 1st and 15. And now 2 backs in the backfield along with Dario Highsmith. Highsmith Right back up the middle and nothing doing there. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Nice job that time by old guy Joseph, number 33, putting on pressure from a linebacker position, getting some early pressure, and Highsmith, no gain there, and we're going to have a timeout on the field. I think New London has a chance. They think they can get the ball back.
Very possible. Limping off the field for Middletown is their right guard, Lisandro Ramirez, the junior.
So 109 remaining, Mark. You've got a lot of, Middletown looks like they're shutting it down and maybe not really putting themselves in a position to score here. New London, on the other hand, thinking they have an opportunity maybe to get the ball back, maybe get in position to score. Middletown doesn't seem like they're out of sync offensively right now for sure. I think they're happy to get into the half. New London, though, seems like it wants to stop the clock because I think they want to get one more chance at getting the ball in the hands of some playmakers.
And we'll see whether or not they can make that happen. It does, the play calling of these last couple of plays does perhaps suggest that Middletown wants to get in there to halftime with the game as it is. Not great field position. An error, a fumble on the snap. Highsmith running off the right side. And he just fires it into the Middletown sideline, and a flag flying here on the near side at the end of that play.
Ball was on the turf early. Highsmith picked it up, tried to make something out of nothing. Harkness was chasing him down on the sideline. And we'll see what the officials have in a heavily penalized first half on both teams.
That is for sure. New London is signaling that it'll be a Middletown penalty.
You want the loss of down?
Or maybe a intentional grounding penalty.
Loss of down may be more helpful here since he didn't get much, if any, yardage.
Ineligible downfield. That penalty is declined. We have intentional grounding. White, 5 yards from the spot. Loss of down. Third down.
So with 1:02 remaining here, third and long, New London maybe does have a chance to get the ball back one more time. You see this time Highsmith in the grass, rolling out and throwing the ball away. This is not the NFL. You cannot do that in high school football. That is an intentional grounding.
So now third down and 22 from the 18-yard line. They go straight up the middle, a big gap there for Highsmith. He's got the first down and more, out across midfield and taken down just outside the 40-yard line. What a disastrous play for New London. They were looking at getting the ball back, and instead a scoring opportunity perhaps for Middletown with still 51 seconds left.
Great cut to the outside, and it's a foot race between him and Nico Ramos, and Ramos catches him on the edge, but Highsmith with great speed that time, bursting out. Now Middletown thinking maybe they have some life.
A 41-yard run. Highsmith will keep it himself, up the middle this time, still on his feet, inside the 35-yard line, taken down at the 34. Clock running at 40 seconds.
Hunter Roman that time just holding on to the shoestrings of Highsmith.
Clock still running, 23 seconds to go. Highsmith rolling right, and he is sacked at the 41. That's one thing he could not do, take a sack there.
David Perry, number 60, coming from the blind side along with Hunter Roman, putting the pressure on Highsmith from the blind side. You'll see Perry with pressure. There's Roman, there's Perry, and that will do it, I think. Middletown with only 13 seconds remaining here in the half.
13.2 seconds to go in the first half. Line of scrimmage now back to the 41. We talked about the very strong and we're told accurate leg of Sal Morello's kicker, Van Oog. Obviously, he'd need significantly more yardage and a stoppage of the clock in order to set up anything that would be in his range. We're told 45 yards, which would mean the snap would have to go down to the 35, line of scrimmage 27, 28 is what they would need in normal conditions.
Interestingly enough, he said he has been looking for an opportunity to get him at that range to see what he can do. I'd say if they could somehow get this first down with any time on the clock, that would be what he would do. And even if he can't get the first, I say they may give him a shot, even if he's close, just see what he's got in the leg.
He's been warming up furiously on the sideline. We'll see if it works out. 13.2 seconds to go. 3rd and 10 from the 41. Highsmith going deep down the right side. And it's intercepted by Jose Garcia at the 4-yard line with 3.2 seconds left. New London will take over and more than likely take the knee and go into halftime.
Great job on the coverage that time. Highsmith looking for Homar, his #1 receiver, steps away from the pressure from Roman, but stride for stride, Jose Garcia blanketing Jacob Homar, and the interception will end things for Middletown, and we'll go into the half most likely 14-7.
Ball may have been a tad underthrown, but I don't think it mattered. As you said, that was tremendous coverage by Garcia. Been a playmaker on both sides of the football today, special teams as well.
We said all along that both coaches wanted to see what their athletes had. That was Middletown's best wide receiver and New London's best cover guy running stride for stride with one another.
And so they do indeed take the knee, and time has run out in the second quarter as we've come to halftime. You know, in the first two possessions of this game, with an 8-0 undefeated team that may be on their way to a state championship type of a game, this one looked like it was headed in the wrong direction for New London. The Whalers really did a great job in getting this thing turned around.
Yeah, give defensive coordinator Juan Roman and the rest of the coaching staff for New London credit for making the adjustment. They started clogging up the middle of the field like in a goal line style defense and relied basically on their defensive backs and outside linebackers to make tackles in space, which is not easy against the likes of Dario Highsmith and Yamal Jackson. But they've done that, and Middletown has not really had anything outside of the one big run there at the end by Highsmith since those first two drives.
It'll be interesting to be in either of those locker rooms at halftime to see about how things are going. You'll think Sal Morello might not be quite as happy, perhaps, as Dwayne Miranda would be. Let's find out just what Sal Morello is thinking. We go down to Dave Edgecombe on the sideline. Dave?
Thanks, Mark. Coach, you guys came out on fire. New London did something. What'd they do to change? You kind of stifle your run.
They've done a nice job. They made some adjustments, and now we got to go back and make some adjustments. We see some things that we might have here in the second half. You know, we got to go back to what we do best.
Any thought to stopping them when you're on defense? They're doing a lot of screen passes. Anything that you can do differently to kind of stop that?
You know, nothing that we haven't seen, nothing we haven't prepared for. We got to do a better job of tackling. They got some receivers and some skill kids that are pretty elusive, so we got to do a better job. And on the run, we got to set a tougher edge. So those are some adjustments we got to make at half.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Back to you, Mark.
To do. It's been an exciting first half of action on Game Day on theday.com. After 2 quarters of play in New London, Middletown has the 14-7 lead.
Wow, so a lot of memories there, almost 7 years ago at this point. And we're going to share some of those memories with some special guests. Casey O'Neill, you remember this game very well, and we have some Whalers here on air with us.
That's right. Thank you, Peter. And, you know, first and foremost, to echo your previous comments, you know, tonight is the first time in that football is taking center stage across America right here with the Game Day Classic. And, you know, we're happy that everybody out there is safe. You know, you keep your families and yourselves safe, but this is the modern world we're in. Game Day Classic, Middletown, New London. And we've got the Romans, Coach Juan, and player Hunter. We've got quarterback Danny Miranda. And, of course, the toast of Whalerville, Garrett Burdick, who was just a young pup back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
And, you know, thanks for joining us, guys. Mike DeMoro on as well. And, you know, this was back in the infancy of Game Day. Mark Brown was the play-by-play announcer. This is what we call PD, pre-doctor. The sports doctor was not yet part of Game Day, and that those broadcasts really launched us, and this was a big one for us. Just first thing I'd like to say is, looking back now, as you guys just reminded me that you're in your 20s, looking back now, when you see the first half of this game or you think back on it, what are some of the thoughts? Hunter, let me start with you. What did what do you remember about this game?
First and foremost, I remember it was real cold. I think it was the coldest game we played that year, like 20 degrees or something like that. But I was talking about it with one of my friends earlier, just trying to remember the memories I had going into that game. And it was definitely one where we knew our backs were against the wall. We had 2 losses already in the year. And if we had lost that one again, we'd be done for the year, essentially, as far as playoffs go. But, we understood that was our one shot we had to take, and we went out there and did it against the odds of everyone else believing whether or not we could do it. But, it was definitely one of the craziest experiences of a high school athletics I ever had.
Yeah, definitely.
Danny, what do you think? Be a quarterback on that stage. That was kind of one of your first big spotlight games. Not like you hadn't had a few already from the previous year, but it was one of the first big time, games for you.
Yeah, definitely it was. I think the main thing that I can take out of the game was that, like Hunter said, our backs were against the wall and we really faced adversity and we came through on top. And I think that it was a really good experience to share it with my teammates. And Coach Mage definitely gave a good halftime speech, and it was a really cold game. So just overall a great experience for sure.
We got Jelani Lucas on the call with us as well. What's going on, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. What do you remember about that night?
Man, what was that, like 7 years ago almost?
Yeah.
It was cold. It definitely was cold. The only thing I could really remember was I ran the wrong route and ended up catching the ball to set up the game when it's play.
Well, that was the debut of the new stands, the debut of the new press box. And Garrett, you were a freshman, so you were just waiting around for big moments at that point. But you went on to become such a versatile player. You became a star. But at that point you were just a freshman and you didn't have a lot to do. How cold was it for you sitting around there for an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Yeah, that was definitely the coldest game that season, at least. But I don't know. I just waited my turn, and
we don't want to give anything away, though. We're going to tease what actually happens at the end of this game.
Okay.
You got to stay on the line to see what the good result.
That's right. So, Coach, you're facing, when you look at the pantheon of great players that New London has played over the years. I mean, Dario Highsmith rolls into this game with as good a pedigree as anybody. The Highsmith family, premier, football family in Middletown. The kid was all everything, and they win the toss and they say, "We want the ball," and they go right down the field and score. They recover that weird onside kick. They go right down the field and score. You're the defensive coordinator at that time. What's going on with you? Do you remember what you were thinking, and what adjustment did you make? Because then you stoned them the rest of the half.
Well, honestly, I was thinking, man, we're about to get our backs beat out. And then actually, I can't take credit. One of our defensive line coach, Brett Maynard, he came up to me and he says, "Coach, they're not going to throw the ball. Let's throw another lineman in there." And it was a good observation on your part during the game. He said, we almost had a goal line situation for the rest of the game. And we put him in there, and that freed up, some players to do some things and be athletic, and that helped out quite a bit. But I wish I could take credit for that, but that was all Brett Maynard.
Hunter, you had a lot of of that role. They were trying to free you up in that game, try to give you some open shots at Highsmith. How tough was he as a player? What do you remember about him, and what do you remember just about your role in that defense?
I remember going into it that week in practice, Coach Maynard telling me, like, "Hey, man, you really got to make sure you're squaring this kid up. He's elusive. You got to be there." And I was like, "No, I got it, man. I got it." And then he was every bit as elusive as they said he would be. You know, I remember he actually broke away from me at one point, and I was like, man, I don't think everyone ever breaks away from me in that type of situation. And then on one of those option plays that was just shown in the second quarter, I remember the play was, if he's running speed option, I've got to take this kid, run through his chest, make him pitch, run through his chest. And I was so excited to get a chance to hit him. I more so Euro stepped into the hit. It was weird. I was like, and I missed the chance to really deliver a blow. But, obviously he was a tremendous competitor, great kid. I actually ended up meeting him later on about the next year when we were both getting recruited by some schools and hung out with him. He was a real good guy. But, yeah, he was the one hell of a player. And as far as my role in the defense, yeah, it was definitely it was an honor playing with those guys. I was looking at the lineup just now, and that was a fun group to be around. A bit of the tactical leader there, but there's a lot of heart in that team. And you got a lot of athletes too.
Jelani, I see you laughing down there. What are you thinking?
What are you thinking,
No, it was definitely a funny group of people. There's a lot of comedians on the team.
That was a good season.
Well, I noticed that because when you guys came on the call before we were on, as soon as anyone would sign on, each of those people on already just kind of smiled and laughed. Or it was just you instantly fell in it. I think of when Danny and Garrett saw each other, just kind of chuckled. And as a very old man, I remember Coach and I go back a lot longer, but there are certain teammates that no matter when you see them, you just chuckle because everything kind of comes back to from those days. Danny, you were playing quarterback and facing probably the biggest defensive line you had seen up till that point, and on the offensive side, their line was big too. You had a lot of pressure that night. What do you think back on as far as running for your life in the early part of that game? And did you think you guys were ever going to be able to get something going?
I mean, before the game, a couple days before, I found myself going on maxpreps.com, and I remember this moment, and I looked up their height and weights just to get a gauge on how big these guys really are, and they didn't really seem that big to me. But then when it got time to go on the field and see them in person, it was like standing behind two twin towers. It was crazy. Or whoever those brothers were, what were their names?
I just watched the first half.
The Bednar's brothers.
Bednar's, yeah.
Yeah, they were huge. But, I mean, our offensive line definitely did a great job. We were undersized, but they did a great job keeping me protected in the backfield there. A couple times I had to roll out and make a quick break or something. But I definitely dedicated most of that game to my offensive line. They did a great job.
While we were talking, one of the names, we were talking about the players in that game that I hadn't thought about in a while. Oren Park, the running back, who just was one of the. It feels like every couple of years, New London churns out a small running back that's impossible to tackle, and that's he was such a beast for his size. But we mentioned Jose Garcia. Tell me what I want each of you to give me your thoughts on any of the players that when you looked at the first half or when you think back on that team, any of the players that pop into your mind. You were saying, man, we forgot what a stud Garcia was. Well, what other guys come to mind for you looking back going, I forgot how good that guy was.
I mean, with Garcia, I just remember his heart, and he was one of the truest competitors on the field. And someone I've always admired as far as who's going to go out there and pour their heart out with me. Because, we were real passionate guys. We really loved playing for our city and really loved playing ball. And he was the example of that.
What about you, Garrett? Who do you think back on?
Oh, me?
Garrett, you left and went elsewhere, and you ended up playing with a lot of great players yourself. But when you look back at that team, who did you look up to? You were a freshman. Who did you look up to on that team?
Yeah, it was definitely Jose because he just he was crazy. He was just crazy fast, and when he ran sideways. So it was wild. So he could cut whenever. I remember one game he had 5 touchdowns I think against East Lawn. But definitely Jose and probably on defense it was Hunter. Hunter definitely set the tone every game. So that's probably them too.
Danny.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think thinking in terms of the most passionate players in the field my
Crazy fast, and
year.
he ran like sideways.
It definitely probably be Mikey Commander. Mikey Commander was a tiny guy, but he had a couple of explosive plays where you just sat back and you thought to yourself, how the heck did he do that? You know? Huge heart, too. Small guy, big heart.
The Commanders known for their, sort of tenacity. The whole family is a tenacious group. And speaking of tenacious, coming late to the party, Nico Ramos.
Hey!
Let's go.
How you guys doing?
What's going on?
Listen, if you were late like this back in the day, Coach Roman would have gone up one side and the other of you. So
I would have had to run hills, you know?
It's good to see you, man. And
Sugar Hill.
Jelani was just saying a minute ago that when he thinks back, Lonnie was saying that that team had a lot of comedians on it. And why do I have a feeling that when people think back on you, they're going to think back on you making people laugh over the course of your career?
I don't know. People just didn't take me seriously. I don't know why.
Tell you what, though, you had some big plays in that game.
I know.
And that for you guys had some playmakers, and all the talk going in was Middletown's playmakers, and they certainly did. Highsmith and Jackson did a number on you guys early, but you guys really stepped up, I thought, and showed probably more team speed than Middletown had seen from anyone else.
I mean, they were definitely a different team that we faced. You know what I'm saying? Because we did face some weak teams the beginning of the season. So this was just it was different. And then when coach just talked to us in the locker room, you know what I'm saying, and we got our mind right, and he just expressed that we just need to just go all out and just play out with our heart, you know what I'm saying? And
I do, and this was one of those games that since I've been told I bleed green and gold a little too often on the air. This was one of those games where when you guys were down 14-0, I was looking for a place to hide because I had been pumping
Me
up.
too.
Yeah, I bet. But I kept saying about, when you come to New London, it's different, right? You got to walk the hill. You got to show up, and, and the New London kids don't quit. And I think this game was a testament to that. Garrett, when you realized that you were going to have to get on the field and kick that field goal, that we are not saying whether it was good or not. But when you had to go on the field, was that the biggest moment of your sports life at that point?
Yeah, at that point, definitely. Yeah, for sure. The one before I had got blocked. So I was already nervous to even step foot on the field because the one before it got blocked. So at that point, I was already like a wreck. But yeah, I mean,
I would say that if you miss that kick, you probably have a different career path than what you had. I mean, that launched the Garrett Burdick attitude era right there. I mean, that's where you got your first taste of swag.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. And I'm grateful for it. So that definitely just set the stage for everything else that occurred in the future and stuff, like even like years down the road. So for sure.
So one of the things that was really obvious to me watching this was all of the ties about family, right? So obviously head coach Dwayne Miranda coaching his son Danny, and Coach Roman coaching his son, and the Highsmith family in attack. But I want to take a step back and talk a little bit about the Whaler family, because that's the one thing we hear a lot about. And I'm going to preface this by saying the Whalers lost one of their own this past week, Derek Lancaster, classmate of mine, Bonehead, for those of you out there who wonder what I'm talking about, who was an outstanding player for New London. And it got me reflecting when I saw some of his teammates, some of my friends commenting on him. And we talk about this a lot, but you've got some time to reflect now. Talk a little bit about, and I want each of you to go right around, just talk a little bit about the Whaler family and what that kind of feels like for each of you.
Well, as an older member, and for me, it's really important to see these young guys, as you said, grow up, see how their lives unfold. So it's really exciting to see that, and it makes you happy to see them become young men that are doing good things, and it's always a matter of when they do well, we feel great. If they don't do as well, we feel terrible. Like you're always attached to each other.
Danny.
I mean, in terms of me, I think I was in a bit of a special circumstance when we're talking in terms of Whaler family. I mean, I came into my sophomore year into this program that I really knew nothing about. I didn't know anybody. And to this day, I'm still just grateful for them accepting me and with such ease and accepting my dad. And I'm grateful for it to this day.
Hunter?
Having the bit of the opposite experience, I suppose, and growing up in it, seeing from when I was like 7 on, being very much intimately involved in the Whaler family, it was definitely it was such a point of pride for me to be able to go out there and represent my city the same way I had watched other people in the past done it before, whether it's Jordan Reed, Dom Griffin, going back to years and years of Whalers that I got to see. And then also knowing just how big of a deal that the prestige of the football program was throughout the city up until that time. So it was definitely an honor to be able to go out there and play for New London and be a Whaler.
Nico.
I'll take it back when PBA days when I always used to go to the games, and the families always used to be there, and that used to bring us together, and always used to go into the football games Friday night. That was great. When they had the hill, when there was still grass on the field. Woo! What you guys know about that?
when the field was in a crater.
First of all, what you guys don't know, you guys still played Friday nights. Coach and I will tell you about the Saturday morning games played on the grass, right?
It was great.
Lonnie, what do you remember?
There's a lot of tradition. It was a lot bigger than football for the most part throughout the town. Tradition-wise, you had like all the alumni even sitting on the hill at Bates Woods watching the game for free. Getting a good, you can hear them coaching. You can hear them coaching up on the hill, trying to coach us and stuff. But no, it was fun. The Whaler football, Whaler being a Whaler, everything about it.
You, Garrett, talk a little bit. You played for 2 great programs. Talk a little bit about the difference between what you experienced in New London and then when you moved on.
Yeah. So Valley's a good program, but New London was it was the tradition there. It's really like no other. I feel like across the state, and even though I did not everything went to plan and I didn't finish over there, they still embrace me and I still get love over there. So they already know what it is. With me, it's always gonna be all love for them, just because that tradition is it's like no other. So just one big family.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't ask the transplant. There's no more of a New London guy on the Zoom call than the middle square right on my screen. That's Mike DeMauro, who ironically went to school in Middletown, from Middletown, and has quickly become the number 1 advocate and spokesperson for New London. Mike, talk a little bit about your experience with the Whaler family and with this game.
Well, this game case. Well, first of all, did I hear right? My favorite play in the whole game is the pass late that Phil caught, and I'm thinking that the 2 guys from Middletown ran into each other. Did he say before he ran the wrong route on that one?
Yes,
did I hear that right?
Yeah.
He never told me that after the game, though.
We always used to run the wrong routes.
Danny didn't have an incomplete pass in that entire game, which makes it even crazier because he didn't have one incompletion, and that one play was a great play for us.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah.
No, what I remember the most was making a bet with the guy next to me at the NFA game 2 weeks after, because he thought Garrett was going to miss that field goal.
Oh,
It ended
that's
up
right.
sending you guys to the playoffs. And I thought, well, after what that kid went through, a couple weeks back, they no way he's missing this one.
That's right.
It's a little deeper, but
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of
And the
wind
other
that day.
thing, Case,
A lot of wind.
A lot of wind.
Juan told me a great story yesterday on the phone about the rematch between you guys, like a month later. Juan, go ahead with that one.
Well, it was interesting when we went into the rematch. I think if we had played them if we had only played them in the playoffs, I think we would have beat them then. But because we came out with that strategy, we made some changes in the first game. So when we came out the second time, Coach Morello, who actually went to school with my wife, so I kind of had a chance to talk to him a little bit more. He said afterwards that they came out with a 9-man line. I've never seen that before. I haven't seen it since. And basically what they did is wherever Hunter lined up, they ran away from him. And so he said to me after the game, I wasn't going to let that kid beat me twice. And so I was like, all right. And it was nice of him. And I know even when at the end of the year, he called me up to let me know that he voted for him for All-State and all that. So it was a really, obviously a flattering thing as a father to hear that. But it was a brilliant move on his part because he literally had a 9-man unbalanced line, which I had never seen before.
Yeah.
Well, this was a fabulous game. Like I said, it was one of the first Game Day Classic. I would be remiss if I didn't just one of the things that I'm interested in, and I think our viewers would be interested in. I'd like to go around and just hear what you guys are up to. Just let the folks at home know, what's one good thing that's going on in your life. I think that would be something that people looking in right now would be interested in. Let me start up at my upper right-hand side again with Hunter.
So right now I'm living down in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm currently working for Cisco Systems in the sales department. It's been a great time since that day on. Obviously, went and had a good college football career as well, and really enjoyed myself. And in the past year, as far as something that's been really good is I think I've traveled to 4 different countries in the past year. So it's been a good time lately.
Good. Lonnie, what's going on with you?
Recently, I started working in Montville School Systems as a paraprofessional in special education. So I work there one-on-one with 2 different students.
How you like that? I mean, it's not New London, but it's okay. How you like going
it's
over
not.
Oh, no. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. I didn't think I would be fit for the job, but I'm enjoying it a lot. Right now, I'm doing online teaching, so that's
very nice.
Also helpful.
Danny.
Right now I'm working at Electric Boat as a design apprentice. So I'm in their 4-year apprentice program and living my life here in Mystic in my house, and definitely thankful for where I am and the job I have and the family that I have. So I'd say I'm in a pretty good spot in life right now.
Nico.
I work at Connecticut Sign Service out in Deep River. I fix LED signs, remodeling, removing stuff, like big signs and stuff. So it's fun.
You look good with the hood, by the way.
Yeah. Well, my hair's a mess. I didn't want you guys to see the curls.
Hey, listen, I understand. I mean, I get it. I get it. Garrett, what's up, buddy?
Though.
Oh, well, you still got? There you go. All right, good.
Nah, bro. I'm still living in Old Lyme right now. I was working for a tree service before all this pandemic stuff started going around. Started losing some hours, but still just trying to make my way, just working with my hands and stuff. So.
Well, you guys are all certainly young, and the future is very bright. We're gonna wrap it up, and then for the folks at home, we're gonna show.
Case, can I tell you one thing, Case?
Yeah, Coach.
Because I just think it's interesting. Early on, I think Jelani had said that some of the teams that we had played prior to this weren't as talented, obviously, as Middletown. And whenever you get in those games, and like you said, Garcia and Nico and Oren, these guys are all running around and they're scoring and doing so much, and Jelani's doing all the things, and special teams and everything else. So we were scoring a lot of points. In every game, the young kids would be tugging on your back of your shirt. Can I get in? Can I get in? Can I get in? And so during this game, it was just the greatest thing because, the game was so intense. It was freezing. It was everything. And Kent Ray's, in the middle of all this chaos, just stopped, turned around, looked at the bench, and said, with his voice, none of you want to get in the game today, huh? He said, this is grown man business today. Oh, I mean, it was the funniest thing because all those kids were sitting squarely on the bench. They wanted nothing to do with that. Like you said, when you had those twin towers, everybody else out there. So it was just a great thing, man. I just always remember that. Amongst all that craziness, Kent Ray's had to point out, usually you guys are all tugging on my shirt. Now nobody wants to get in.
Thank you. I want to thank the Romans, Jelani Lucas, Garrett Burdick, Nico Ramos. I want to thank you, Danny Miranda, Mikey D. I want to thank you all for being a part of the inaugural Game Day Classic call. Let's watch the second half and find out if if Danny doesn't throw an incompletion. Let's see if Garrett makes that field goal.
All right, so we're going to wrap up our call there. We're going to throw it down to our sideline reporter, Dave Edgecombe, so it was fun to check in with all these guys. Dave was our sideline reporter for this game. Dave is now a sports anchor down in Texas. So thanks for watching, everybody, and hopefully we will catch you next week with another Game Day Classic.
Now we wanted to get to know some of the players a little bit better off the field, so we thought who better than some of the players themselves to get to know some of the Whalers and the Blue Dragons.
When I wake up in the morning, I like to do 5 push-ups. It gets me ready. I like my arms built. 5 push-ups because I'm number 5.
Chinese food is a big part of my pregame ritual. Before the game, I like to eat peanut butter crackers. Snapchat, I like to Snapchat. I just put my helmet on and I just get ready.
What is your biggest talent off the football field?
Off the football field, I like to make videos. And last year, actually, we went to California for Bluetooth, and we got first place in the commercial category.
Rapping, riding my moped, exercising, and especially yoga.
I'm a big track guy for this group. Last year, I went to New Balance Nationals, ranked number 8th.
Very interested into mathematics. It's one of the things I like to do. Find it's almost like a puzzle to me, so sometimes just to get some extra help and I'll do problems for fun.
Communicating with people. I like to talk to people, and they always talk to me.
I'm a whiz in NBA 2K.
I like to play Madden. I'm pretty good at Madden. I don't play it a lot, but when I do play it, most of the time I win.
I do flips. It's actually pretty nice.
Let's show me your flip.
Get all this.
Mike Commander for the flip.
Now, Mike Commander, definitely one of the more athletic talents away from the field, but one thing we definitely learned, all those guys got lots of talents away from football. Lots of bright futures right there. We will be back right after this.
And so many great stories in these high school football matchups. For instance, Orrin Park is the Whalers' top running back and one of the team's captains, but rather than being a vocal leader, he prefers being a quiet presence who leads by example. We've already seen some great football out of him, but football is not what defines Orrin Park.
When they hand the ball off to me, I'm told to always think of scoring each time, so that's the first thing that comes in my mind. I focus on scoring.
Orrin, his work ethic, the way he does things, his quiet intensity, his he's unselfish. What he's doing now on the field is just a product of his determination and hard work. I mean, you won't meet a nicer, more well-rounded kid.
I started in 8th grade. My friends saw me playing when we were at school, and they thought I was pretty good, so they invited me to play with them.
He walks here every day. He comes from a very hard-working family. He never misses a practice and probably has every reason in the world to miss a practice.
When I started in 8th grade, they had the same expectations, or similar expectations, and they talked a lot about how it was intense in high school, so that prepared me some. And I was always prepared to do my best. No matter what is put in before me, I will never give up. I'll do the best I can, no matter what.
It's nice to see that in a setting such as this, a kid can lead by example, and kids follow that, and not necessarily get drawn to the guy who's the loudest and saying, look at me. Because Orrin is not a look at me guy. Orrin is a watch me, and I'll do it right, and you can follow my lead.
Coach, they jumped up 14-0. You guys did well. What was the message to get you guys back on track?
Same thing we've been going through all year, just a little bit of adversity. We get some adversity, our kids come together and they play well.
we're always going to fight. So our kids responded to that. Defensively, we stepped up. We were able to make some plays out there, and then our offense feeds off that. So we just got to continue to move the football, stop some of the the senseless penalties that hurt us there early on, and just keep doing what we're doing right now. Save us momentum.
On Wednesday, you told us you want to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Have you liked it so far on offense?
Yeah, we just can't have negative plays. You know what I'm saying? We got to have manageable down and distances all the time, and we've gotten it out there, but we failed in a couple plays, missed a couple blocks here and there. And they're a good football team. They're going to make you pay for that. So we just got to make sure that we're keeping moving the ball forward all the time, getting the ball in the playmakers' hands out in the perimeter, and then good things will happen.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mark.
All right, thank you, Dave. That is the theme. We heard about it when we chatted with the coach Wednesday night. You can look at it in the season, starting 1 and 2. You don't have a home field. They seem to have fed off that. Now we have our game. They don't start off well, and what are they doing? They're changing their destiny. It's great.
Well, I can speak to this as a someone born and raised in the city and a graduate of the high school. New London is a perpetual and lovable underdog in so much as this community prides itself on being able to overcome adversity. There's a saying that everyone likes to say, which is, it's a New London thing, you wouldn't understand. But there's something to that. There's a great community that prides itself on their ability to never get down and always overcome. And I think Coach Miranda, who's not from New London, immediately recognized that. He kept a lot of the old coaching staff, guys who have been through the program, Kent Rays, Bob Nenna, Juan Roman. He kept them, Tommy Major. He kept them because they had been in the program for so long. And he said, listen, you guys know New London. And he has really embraced that community.
And it's all working, no question about that. We'll see whether Sal Morello's halftime adjustments can get Middletown back on track. They've lost the momentum thanks to some great play by the New London defense initially, and then the ability to get the ball to the playmakers.
Tommy Major, who was regarded and is regarded by old-time New Londoners as perhaps the greatest player, if not defensive player, in the history of New London. Maybe the best motivational speaker, and as someone who has known him a long time, someone who you do not want to be on the receiving end of a tongue lashing. He is a passionate guy getting that defense fired up for this second half.
And we'll see whether they can sustain that. What a tremendous second quarter for the New London Whalers to get themselves back in this ball game, hoping for the upset against Middletown. The Blue Dragons, who come into this game 8-0 and with aspirations of a state championship, clearly on track to get themselves into the Class L playoffs. Right now, number 2 in those rankings. And certainly they knew that there was some danger coming to New London against the playmakers that they have, but Middletown has really only been worrying about what Middletown does and going out and playing their game. Well, at some point in that first half, New London has taken that game away from them, at least for the moment.
Well, we saw that in the very beginning. Middletown won the toss, and they elected to receive, and that comes into play because New London will get the ball to start here in the second half.
Van Ook will kick off. Garcia lets it bounce, and it goes out of bounds at the 8-yard line, so the flag flies.
Something we didn't talk a lot about, Mark, was a very heavily penalized first half. Not penalties, not holding, not any personal fouls per se, but a lot of illegal procedures and a lot of illegal shifts and delay of games and a lot of, we saw 2 sideline warnings. So it has been a little bit of a sloppy offense for both offenses, getting their offenses in sync. We'll see if they can improve on that in the early going.
So the 35-yard line is where New London will take over after the kick went out of bounds. Junior quarterback Danny Miranda throwing to Garcia on the near side. Good yardage across the 40 and taken down at the 44-yard line. Garcia, known for his speed, his quickness, his explosiveness. He lowered the shoulder against 3 or 4 defenders there.
Yeah, he's a tough kid playing defensive back as well. He likes to hit. But that really right there is the equivalent of a running play. Get the ball out very quickly into your receiver's hand. You saw the New England Patriots do it for many years. It's equivalent of a running ball down.
Not much going on there off the left side on 2nd and 1. Actually, a loss of probably a yard or so on the play. It'll be backed up to the 43-yard line, sets up 3rd down and 2.
We said Middletown was going to pay attention to where Orrin Park was at all times. You see right there, they were not going to be fooled. They knew he was going to get the football. Manageable 3rd down, but a negative play that New London's trying to avoid.
Miranda out to Garcia, the bobble there, and that gave the defense just that extra step to get to him. And he's taken down back at the 40-yard line, so going in the wrong direction. 4th down now and 5 for New London. They're going to punt it away.
You're going to see London Highsmith, number 5 on the outside, shooting the gap right there, along with Carrillo and number 7, Jacob Homar. But we haven't talked about London Highsmith very much. He is the defensive leader, a senior who was injured, didn't even have a preseason, but Coach Morello said he really has anchored and solidified that defense for Middletown.
Jelani Lucas, the snap was bounced back to him, but no rush was on. Actually got the kick away, a pretty good one. It bounces at the 35-yard line and then comes back a yard or 2, maybe 3, to the 38-yard line, where Middletown will take over for their first possession of the second half.
We'll see what Middletown does offensively, whether they try to go back to the power running game that was effective on those first 2 drives after New London made the adjustment. Good field position for Middletown. And we'll see if New London is able to continue the success they've had on defense. I'm be very curious. Not the kind of opening drive New London would have liked, going 3 and out, but we'll see about Middletown.
Middletown's got 3 receivers in the set for now. The give is to Jamal Jackson. He doesn't encounter a defender till 8 yards deep, and then he simply runs him over. He ends up with a 12-yard carry out to midfield, across midfield, in fact, to the 49 of New London.
Almost didn't get the exchange, did Jamal Jackson, and then poor Nico Ramos, number 12, had to bear the brunt of that shoulder. Jackson is an impressive kid, both power and speed.
Listed at 5'9" and a tough 210 pounds. And that's what Nico Ramos had to deal with one-on-one. Here is Jackson again. This time he doesn't get through the line, as that is stacked up nicely. Greg Newkirk out of his nose guard position.
Only a sophomore, big number 72, Greg Newkirk. They are a young offensive and defensive line. A lot of sophomores starting there, and Newkirk really that time stepped up and finished the play.
Big playmaker Hunter Roman, a junior, 6'5", and one of the captains, both nose guards, Newkirk and Calcano, who backs him up, and we've seen some of him today, both of them sophomores. 2nd down and 11, back at midfield now. Highsmith breaks a tackle and gets it down to the 40, but a flag flying in late.
We'll see what we get here. We might have a face mask or it's going to be a hold. We're going to see what happens here. New London reaching in, trying to grab a spinning Highsmith. Could have gotten an inverted face mask. Pointing the other direction is the official.
Only a 5-yarder. Face mask, green, 5 yards. That will be enough for a first down.
Yep, Highsmith was spinning that time, and whenever that happens, people are reaching and grabbing. They got inadvertent on the face mask. You know, you mentioned Hunter Roman, the Whalers' junior defensive leader. He has an opportunity to be one of the best defensive players in the state next year. Only a junior. You see the size and the speed. He has made an impact thus far, and they're going to need him to step up right now as Middletown is driving.
1st and 10 at the 35-yard line of New London. Low snap, Highsmith handles it, but goes forward off the left side, maybe a yard.
Yeah, not much there that time. That play, the snaps have been interesting. We've had some low snaps. Highsmith having to pick the ball off the ground. He had to do that again right there, just enough to get the play out of sync.
Out of sync, right? Takes his eyes maybe off the defense as he looks down the field. Who knows what those plays might have had the opportunity to turn out. Instead, just these short gains. 2nd down and 9. Trips out to the right side. And Highsmith, big yardage, cuts it back to the left, and he is going to score. Highsmith with a 34-yard touchdown run, and just like that, Middletown is back up by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, the vision that time by Dario Highsmith, that's entirely on him. That play was designed to go to the right. His great vision cut back to the left and allowed him to get into the open space. Off to the right, nothing there, cuts it back again, and outraces the defense to the end zone. That's all Dario Highsmith right there to the end zone. And Middletown now with that 2-touchdown lead all over again.
Van Ook on for the extra point. And he splits the uprights. So with 8:45 to go in the third quarter, the 8-0 Middletown Blue Dragons are up 21-7 at New London. Outstanding quarterback Dario Highsmith with a 34-yard touchdown run. And now Middletown leading 21-7 over New London. Highsmith coming in with 21 touchdowns on the season. He has now added 3 more. 24 rushing touchdowns for that quarterback. And again, they kick it away from Garcia. This time he'll just let it roll into the end zone.
You can see the leg of Ook. He really can get off on the kickoffs, driving the ball into the end zone that time. I would love to see him get that opportunity to go from 45 yards because you can see the big leg that the young man has there on the kickoff. New London now down 2 scores, have not had much offense since the touchdown. They are going to have to get a sustained drive here.
1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line after the touchback. Traditional alignment here for New London with the 4 wide and Park in the backfield. Park will take it. Cuts it back up the field and is lucky if he got back to the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by the Blue Dragons defense.
Yeah, the interior of the Middletown line led that time by Jamar Jones, really just not giving Orrin Park an opportunity to get into space. They are really taking away the run, and clearly they want Danny Miranda to beat them through the air right now.
New London utilizing the no-huddle offense as the play signaled into Miranda. He's ready. Complete over the middle to Nico Ramos. He's got 1st down yardage out to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, that's one of the plays New London likes to run, that seam route with Ramos. They do it a lot, and that time Miranda on a 3-step drop drilled it in there. You see quickly getting the ball out of his hands, perfectly thrown right on the seam to the Ramos. Positive play for New London. That's the kind of thing they need to take advantage of, getting those athletes into space.
Miranda looking to the near side, finds Garcia, who is covered tightly and taken down by Jacob Homar.
They're going to give it about 4 yards, the forward progress that time, but Homar, nice job from the secondary. Watch how quickly Homar closes. The ball gets right out into Garcia's hand. Homar immediately on top of him, driving him back. That's how you play defensive back, closing speed from Homar.
No yards after catch there.
That's right, none.
Not a millimeter. Miranda. Little crossing pattern complete right near the 1st down markers. That is Leo Clinton.
We'll see where they measure that one, right at the sticks. Clinton, another junior, one of those young Whaler wide receivers, a linebacker as well. We've called his name on defense. They're going to move the chains.
Line of scrimmage now, the 44-yard line of New London. Flags flying, whistles blowing. Looked like the ball wasn't snapped initially.
No, that play was, we had 2 tackles.
Dead ball. False start. Green, 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
The New London linemen were pulling. The ball hadn't been snapped yet. It was the ball. I thought it was like fumble Ruski, trick play or something on the field. But these are the dead penalties that Coach Miranda was talking about at halftime. They just can't have negative plays like this. It makes it too much of an uphill climb.
1st down and 15, back at the 40-yard line for New London. And this one is a direct snap to Nico Ramos. He's got some space all alone down the right sideline, and he is going to score a 60-yard touchdown run for Nico Ramos.
Well, there's the wrinkle. The Whalers went Wildcat. They sent Danny Miranda and split him out wide, putting Nico Ramos into the direct snap Wildcat for the Whalers. And you see the playmaker making plays on the outside and the speed. That's what the Whalers were looking for. You see Coach Miranda with a smile on his face. They had a little wrinkle that time, and they caught Middletown off guard. 60 yards for Nico Ramos.
Garrett Burdick on to try the extra point. He knocks it through. And once again, it is a one-score game. 6:36 to go in the third quarter. Let's look at that one again.
Direct snap. Ramos looks like he doesn't have much. Tries to get the seam. Cuts it outside, inside of Carrillo and Homar, right between. And then there's Orrin Park, number 21, providing the escort all the way to the end zone. No one was going to catch either one of those two. Great cut right there by Ramos, where he splits inside of Homar and outside of Carrillo, and the Whalers sideline and the official all doing a nice job, but no one was going to catch him.
Attack the perimeter, get the ball to athletes in space. That's what we heard was the game plan. I think we just saw it.
We did, and when you get that, those athletes have to make plays. Two of Middletown's best defenders, Jacob Homar and Cody Carrillo, had the edge taken and had the play sealed. And quite frankly, it was just at that point Ramos' ability to split the two defenders. Those were the best athletes on both sides of the ball. Ramos split them, got into space, and we've seen with both Highsmith and Ramos, if these guys get out in front of you, that speed, you're not going to catch them.
Back to receive for Middletown, number 7, Jacob Homar.
New London back within 7 at 21-14. Canamello Field at New London High School, where the Whalers are playing host to the Blue Dragons of Middletown, who come in a perfect 8-0. Game day on theday.com. And the kick is away, bouncing at the 18-yard line and scooped up, but losing yardage. Jordan Baker. See where they give him progress to. It looks like maybe to the 17-yard line, where this one will be spotted down.
Once Baker made the decision to let that ball hit the ground, he was in danger of having what happened to New London happen, which was a Whaler falling on the ball and it becoming an onside kick. So I don't know that he wanted to pick that ball up, but once he let it hit the turf, he didn't have a choice, and that's why that play went backwards from the start. You see here, ball on the turf, he has to pick it up, or else number 44, Jalen Ford, would have gotten that ball for the Whalers, and instead, Ford trails the play and makes the tackle.
The give is to Yamal Jackson, gets hit twice at the line of scrimmage. And he got nothing there. Great job by the New London front line.
You know, David Medina that time, number 8, whose name we haven't called a whole lot, stepped up and shot that gap. He was the one that made first contact. And, you know, make first contact in Yamal Jackson doesn't guarantee a tackle. It's a big kid who runs hard. But that was a nice job there by the Whalers cleaning up.
No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10 from the 17-yard line of Middletown. 4 wide receivers. Highsmith is going to run. Gets it out across the 20, down to the 21-yard line.
Leo Clinton cleaning it up. Now that's a difficult, they're on the right hash that time, so running to the short side of the field doesn't give them as much space. Highsmith doesn't have as much room to maneuver and pretty much makes the play one side of the field, which means the sideline is an additional tackler. So that time Clinton just forced it and cleaned it up on the sideline.
Gain of 4, 3rd down and 6. Good penetration in the backfield, and they take down Highsmith for no gain on the play.
There he is again, David Medina. We've called his name now. He's come in and made 2 big plays. Hunter Roman provided the pressure, and senior David Medina with the sack of Highsmith, and the Whalers will get the ball back. And we have seen a whole lot of momentum shifting back and forth. Now it's back on the Whalers side.
Van Ook is back on his 10-yard line in punt formation. Jose Garcia is back with Nico Ramos. It'll go to Garcia at his 43. It's straight up the field, out to the 48-yard line. Great field position for the New London Whalers, trailing Middletown 21-14 in the 3rd quarter. This is Game Day on theday.com. Late in the third quarter at the moment, but we want to remind you when the game is over, it's not over. We've got the Norwich Free Academy post-game report, all the game highlights, post-game interviews. You're going to want to keep it here on theday.com. Our game day presentation, simply the game. Pre-game, halftime, post-game, great stuff. Mark Brown with you along with Casey O'Neill, Dave Edgecombe roving the sidelines, telling some of the stories with us, and what a story it's been so far. New London hanging in there with the unbeaten 8-0 Middletown Blue Dragons. New London's got the ball back on their own 47-yard line. 1st and 10. Ramos will throw. Coming back for the ball is Garcia, but it was intercepted by Jacob Holmar.
They went back to that Wildcat again, but this time Ramos looked to throw the ball to Garcia. Holmar not fooled, and he was there all the way. You see, never even a threat. Ramos did not look like he was going to run, looked like he was going to throw it all the way, downfield, into coverage, and a great job by Holmar. I thought Garcia was going to come back and steal that from him, but Holmar there makes the play. Big turnover for New London, a crucial one, giving the momentum right back to Middletown. Senior Jacob Holmar, we've seen him on the receiving end running stride for stride with Garcia. That time the other way around. Garcia intercepted once, now Holmar with an interception.
28-yard line, the line of scrimmage for Middletown. And good yardage off the left side, out across the 35 to the 36.
New formation that time. We have not seen Middletown run out of that formation. A power formation with two backs to the left of Highsmith. That's something we haven't seen yet. We'll see if the Whalers adjust to that and if Middletown goes back to it.
Gain of 7
7 yards on first down there. Sets up 2nd down and 3 from the 36-yard line. Now 3 in the backfield, leading the way for Highsmith. And he's got great yardage across midfield, taken down at the 48-yard line. Check that 43-yard line of New London. Nico Ramos in on the tackle there, but not until a huge gain from Highsmith.
Big 52, Sam Rivera, who is a lineman in the backfield from the power sweep that time. I feel like we're back in 1912 watching Princeton football. The power sweep with the lineman leading the way.
They're going to spot him down at the 44-yard line where Middletown has it 1st and 10 in New London territory. Highsmith flagged flying in as he gets down to the 40-yard line.
You want it, right? Take it? Okay. Where's your spot?
Middletown hold will back them up and put them in long yardage situation on 1st down. You see Coach Tommy Major there saying,
repeat the down.
imploring his defense, just, stay calm, keep your feet under you. Here's now the time to make the stop.
10-yard penalty.
So with the penalty backing it up back into Middletown territory, it'll be at their own 49-yard line. Setting up 1st down and 17. Spot of the foul. Holding. Dario Highsmith trying to get back to midfield and does just about that. A gain of 1, may have gotten it down to the 49 of New London. But there was great penetration into the backfield that forced Highsmith to reroute.
Yeah, Medina that time shot in and just blew the play up. He took on that big lineman Rivera. They had Rivera in the backfield again, and Medina went in and blew him up, forcing Highsmith back inside, which is why that play did not go anywhere.
Another penalty.
Holding White. 10 yards from the spot. Repeat 1st down.
Let's go down to Dave Edgecombe on the sideline. Dave, what do you got?
Before the game, Coach Morello said they expect to see a lot of 8- and 9-man front boxes. Right now, New London's even deploying 10 and 11 guys in the box at times. He said that he expects Highsmith to be able to check out of that and look down the field. So far, they haven't looked down the field at all. Let's see if they look down the field at all in this drive. Back to you, Mark.
Might need to on 1st and 29. Highsmith avoiding tacklers. Now he's going to run. Taken down at the 40-yard line, so maybe a gain of about 3 on the play.
Harkness that time, and we see Highsmith down on the play. That would be an impossible loss for Middletown if he has to miss a couple of plays. That time to the sideline, being chased by Trey Scott along with Ashee Harkness, and he just didn't get there in time. And it's going to be a timeout on the field as they attend to Dario Highsmith.
Okay, interesting here. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but let's see what happened first. An interesting point about their backup. Harkness came up and delivered a huge shot at the end of that play. We were told before the game that their punter, Austin Meeker, would not be available for Middletown. Meeker is also listed as their backup quarterback, should we get to that point, if Highsmith needs to come out for any length of time. So where Sal Morello goes after that would be a very interesting question. Here's another look.
24, Harkness lowering the shoulder, gets him right above the shoulder. Clean and strong hit, but Highsmith definitely took a shot there. It's funny because we heard both coaches say that one of the things about Highsmith was he never took a hit. You know, he always sort of just got out of the way of avoiding those clean shots. No one ever gets a clean look on him. That time Harkness did get a clean look on him, along with Trey Scott, and Highsmith now just getting up off the turf. You see shaken up, and he'll sit at least one play out. But the fact that he's standing next to his coach with a water bottle and not heading over to the bench indicates that he probably wants to at least try to return.
As we scan that backfield, trying to determine who will be taking this snap. And movement before. Well, it doesn't appear that there's actually a listed quarterback in that backfield.
No, there was 31, Jamal Jackson. They were going to go.
Repeat 2nd down.
They were just going to go wildcat and do direct snaps to Jamal Jackson if Highsmith couldn't get back into the football game.
Which isn't probably a huge adjustment for their offense. It's just a different guy.
I think they intentionally got that penalty, and now Highsmith's back in the game.
That could have been. He's fine and gives it to Jamal Jackson off the right side. Room to run. He's got the 1st down and more. Inside the 20, where he's taken down with a great open field tackle, but a huge run. No flags on the field. And Jamal Jackson has come up with another monster run down to the 16.
Speed, breaking to outside. No one there. Breaks to Leo Clinton. He's out. He's faster than Clinton.
We might have a flag. Yes, over on the 40-yard line.
And they are bringing it back.
Wow.
Another hold.
Repeat 2nd down again.
A huge penalty against Middletown. Their 3rd hold on this drive alone. And Coach Morello has to take a walk right there. He is not happy. 3 holds, and that one negating a big run by Jamal Jackson.
Interesting to see whether the hold helped free him up to get those yards. But it's going to be a big calculation here as to what the yards to gain will be. They need to get to the 34-yard line of New London for a 1st down. They're back at their own 31.
Wow.
35? 2nd and 35, that's my best guess. Highsmith off the right side. He didn't get 35, but he might have gotten 2.
You know, and if we go back at the when we go back and look at this game, remember that play. New London had them backed up. Jackson with a huge run, putting Middletown in scoring position, and instead it is now 3rd and a country mile. New London looking to get the ball back. Let's remember that play. 3 holding penalties on one drive. Really, really hurting Middletown very much here late in the 3rd quarter.
I'm going to go with 3rd down and 32 at the moment. Empty backfield. Highsmith takes it straight up the middle, across the 35, maybe to the 37, where it will set up 4th down and 29.
Hunter Roman again that time. He's coming up big in that interior of the New England line, but wow, the momentum shift again from having it knocking on the door for your own touchdown to giving New London the ball maybe as close as midfield. What a momentum shift again we've seen.
Dan Ook is on his 25 to punt it away. No pressure. Gets the kick away. Nico Ramos is under it. And he bobbled it, but it went straight out of bounds. So no harm done for the Whalers, who will take over at their own 35-yard line. 1:18 to go in the 3rd quarter.
This has been a game of penalties, of missed opportunities, and of athletes making plays. Right now, New London wants athletes making plays, not penalties and missed opportunities.
Well, it is Danny Miranda back to receive the snap at quarterback, which wasn't the case on their last 2 plays. They worked out in quite different ways, some good and some bad. That one, though, very nice yardage off the left side, moving the chains immediately out to the 46-yard line. Orrin Park.
New London going back to some traditional offense. It had things going well for them when they were throwing the ball and running the ball with Park. They had some success with that Wildcat. And then, of course, the interception. Back to the traditional offense now with Miranda leading the way.
Miranda looking near side. Garcia. Stiff arm to get extra yards across midfield and into Middletown territory to the 48-yard line.
He just absolutely put the hammer down for a little kid this time. You see Garcia taking the quick screen, and out there, Carrillo is the beneficiary. Oh, wow.
That's a linebacker he did that to.
He's a tough kid, and that was a good stiff arm right there by Jose Garcia.
Gain of 6 on the play. 2nd down and 4 from the 48. Again, flags. This one looks like it'll go against New London.
Get them right back to where they started from again. Going to have a legal procedure against New London. We've seen an awful lot of these in this game. Both teams hurting themselves repeatedly with these penalties.
Dead ball. False start. 5 yards. Repeat first down.
So that'll back them up almost all the way to where they began on that first down. Now 2nd down and 9.
The New London offensive line yelling at each other to come on, let's get this thing together. No more penalties. Not mad at each other, but instead very full of pride, saying that this is enough. We're better than this. We'll see if the offensive line can come together now for the Whalers.
Miranda looking left. He's got the ball complete down to the 46-yard line to Jelani Lucas. Haven't called his name much in the passing attack today.
Miranda showing the arm off that time, throwing a nice strike to Lucas. Really well thrown ball, bringing up a 3rd and close.
So with New London facing a 3rd and 3 at the 47-yard line of Middletown, we've come to the end of the 3rd quarter. 21-14, Middletown with the lead. You're watching Game Day on theday.com. Start of the 4th quarter in New London at Canamella Field. The Whalers of New London trailing the Blue Dragons of Middletown as they have switched sides of the field. 3rd down and 3. The pass is to Orrin Park, but he's got nowhere to go. Jamal Jackson had him covered like a blanket and took him down well short of the first down.
And that was big because Middletown blitzed. They sent pressure up the middle at Miranda. He got to the read, got it out to his back, Park, his safety valve. And if Jamal Jackson didn't make the tackle, Park would have had nothing but daylight in front of him. A big hold for the Middletown defense.
Jelani Lucas is back in punt formation at his own 37-yard line. Jacob Homar is back to receive the punt back on his 19-yard line. 4th down and 6. And the kick is away. Homar choosing not to field it, and it is downed at the 17-yard line of Middletown.
Well, both teams at this point probably disappointed with how the penalties have affected their offense. Middletown certainly with 3 holding penalties in that last drive, negating the big run by Jackson. Not great field position. They're going to have to go the length of the field, but they certainly have had some success doing that. New London here now needs a stop. They have to maintain the momentum that they have built up with this defense.
First and 10, Middletown at their own 17. Give us to Jackson. And nowhere to go, maybe a yard.
Hunter Roman, again, we've called his name an awful lot. I told you earlier, I think he has an opportunity to be the premier defensive player in the area, if not in the state next year. He's got the size, he's got the speed. And Highsmith about to go over 200 yards with his next carry and those 3 touchdowns, but it's been the running of Yamal Jackson that has really hurt the Whalers. And right now, that dual threat for Middletown, Highsmith and Jackson.
Here is Highsmith, picking his way off the right side out across the 20, out to the 22-yard line, so he goes over the 200-yard mark. He went for 288 last week against a previously unbeaten Farmington team on 26 carries, couple of scores. 1 score, actually. 3 today.
Big third down here for both teams. Middletown trying to keep the ball away from New London. Running clock. New London, of course, trying to get that defense off the field and get the ball back into the hands of Danny Miranda.
Clock inside, 10 minutes to go. Just fine with Middletown. They like to move the chains, chew up yardage and the clock, but they've got a 3rd down and 5, and Middletown will use the timeout.
Be interesting to see now what Middletown chooses to do. 3rd and 5. They've shown a lot of different looks tonight. They've shown it all.
35 points on the scoreboard so far. And when this game started, you might have guessed the way it started that all 35 could have come from Middletown, because they were dominant to start this game. On their very first possession, capped off by a 5-yard touchdown run by Dario Highsmith. He wasn't nearly done. A 12-yard touchdown run followed that for a 14-0 lead before New London ever got their hands on the ball. When they did some good things. 16-yard touchdown pass Miranda to Jose Garcia to pull within 14-7. That was the score at halftime. Highsmith broke free for a huge run. 34 yards to open the scoring in the third, 21-7. Middletown, and then it was Nico Ramos with a 60-yard direct snap touchdown run to pull within 21-14, which is where we are at the moment. Coming up on 9.5 minutes to go in this ball game. Middletown with the 7-point lead over New London. They've just picked up another 1st down to move the chains and have it 1st and 10 on their own 28. This is Game Day on theday.com. Mark Brown with you along with Casey O'Neill and Dave Edgecombe, who's working the sidelines. It has been as good a game as we had hoped coming in.
That time on 3rd and 15 feet. Highsmith got 15 feet and an inch. Here's that big power backfield we saw again. Lineman and Jackson.
Highsmith breaks the first tackle out across the 30. Give him about 4 more yards on that play.
Ramos did a nice job taking away the perimeter that time, forcing it back towards Leo Clinton, who cleaned it up, but not until he got 3 or 4 yards. Manageable 2nd downs. This resembles that Middletown team we saw when they started the game. 3-4 yards at a time, just eating clock.
Inside 9 minutes to go now. You've got the ball. You've got a massively powerful offensive line. You've got Dario Highsmith. Good position to be in if you're Middletown.
More importantly, you've got the lead.
2nd down and about 6.5 yards, but another flag coming in.
Win a game. White, 5 yards. Repeat the down.
Well, you certainly want to use up all the play clock that you can with the clock running and a lead, but you do want to get the play off. without getting penalized.
Yeah, both teams just, they're going to come away from this thing looking at film all week long, regardless of who comes out on top. Both teams are going to be looking at film all week, wondering where they can improve on that offensive line.
2nd down and 11. Highsmith off the right side, back across the 30.
Highsmith on the carry. Leo Clinton.
Leo Clinton that time along with David Perry. Bringing up a 3rd and long, and this is not where Middletown is comfortable. They do not like throwing the ball on 3rd and long. This is not a distance that they are guaranteed through the running game, so this is a big play here for the New London Whaler defense.
3rd down and 7. 7:50 to go. Line of scrimmage, the 31 of Middletown. Highsmith keeps it, flags fly. 1st down and much, much more. A foot race to the end zone. No one's going to catch Highsmith, but the question is, who's the penalty on?
I see the flag on the play. I think they're going to be waving it back. We see the official, the white hat, and they're heading in the wrong direction. We're going to see here direct snap to Highsmith. Looks like we're going to get a flag against Middletown.
Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Middletown, 5 yards to the previous spot. Repeat the down.
Second time we've seen that called against Middletown. Not enough guys on the line of scrimmage. That means somebody didn't set up in the right position. And that is just a fundamental mistake that Middletown coach is not going to like. Sal Morello is not going to be happy about that. We saw the huge gain of Jackson negated by a hold, and now a touchdown by Highsmith negated by illegal, not having enough guys on the line of scrimmage.
69-yard touchdown. And, you know, you can make a case that a hold might help a guy make that long run. In this instance, didn't help him at all. This is just plain and simple, negated 69-yard touchdown run.
Mistakes will kill you.
3rd down and 12.
Yes.
Diving forward for a few, and it'll set up 4th down. So New London's got to love that turn of events. Instead of being down 14, it's 4th down. They're going to get the ball back with 7 minutes to go. Van Ook back to kick, and 2 men deep. Nico Ramos and Jose Garcia for New London. Fumbled snap, barely gets the kick away. It is scooped up by Hunter Roman at the 15-yard line.
Oh, there was the mistake that New London's been waiting for, that Middletown has been hoping to avoid. Ook just couldn't handle the snap. It was a hard snap. He dropped it. It went to the turf. He tried to just side kick it and get it out of there. It was deflected and recovered by New London. You see the snap. Ook just can't handle it. Picks it up. He tries to get rid of it, but he's hit almost immediately by New London's Dante Alston, and a big, big chance for the New London Whalers.
1st and 10 on the 15. 6:47 to go. New London with a ball down by 7. Miranda gives to Park. He gives a lot of ground, but he's back to the line of scrimmage. That one could have been a loss of as many as 9 yards. He did well just to get it back to the 15.
Jamal Jackson has played a great game defensively for Middletown the entire night, and that time he blew it up again, forced Orrin Park to run a long way just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 10. Miranda looking to the end zone. He's got a man. Touchdown, Jelani Lucas. And New London can tie the game with the extra point.
What a great job by Danny Miranda. He was getting pressure from his front. We could see it. Stepped into the throw and hit Lucas on the post. Touchdown. Now you see here, Miranda's going to get pressure off the edge. Here comes Jamal Jackson. Miranda steps into the throw, and Lucas beating number 22, Hunter Belzo, to the post for what could be the tying score. And New London looking like they might go for 2. Mark, opportunity is knocking for the Whalers.
Wow, this an aggressive call by Dwayne Miranda if they follow through with it.
6:12's a lot of time left, but he sees an opportunity maybe to get his team the lead. He is not satisfied. Tied up right now. We'll see if they snap this or if they try a hard count or get a flag for delay of game.
Delay of game. Green, 5 yards. Retry.
Now you got to see if Burdick goes out for the extra point with that extra 5 yards tacked on, or if they are going to still go for 2 from this time from the 7-yard line.
And now Burdick will go out there. It was an interesting call with all that time left. You know, the conservative thing to do is to tie it. Don't lose the game here by missing a 2-point conversion. And now that decision taken away from him. But, you know, look, it's high school football. Now you're backed up to the 25. Extra points are not given in high school football. We'll see if Burdick can put it through, and he can. It's blocked.
The dangers of backing him up 5 yards. Middletown chose to come after it. A lot of time left, but that is going to put pressure on the Whalers. Opportunities, missed ones. The snap was good, the hold was good, but oh, what an athletic play.
Homar.
He is their guy. He said all along, he is on the field for every play. A superstar making a play. What an athletic play by Jacob Homar. You would have thought you were watching somebody playing on Sunday. The athleticism that he just showed there, coming off the edge, full extension, laid out, and blocked the extra point.
That was an unbelievable athletic play by Jacob Homar. That replay show just coming out of nowhere, laying out.
You know, now Middletown here, if they do come away with this thing, with this win, even though it won't affect their Class L standings because the points aren't affected by the score, their number 3 ranking in the latest poll will certainly be affected by this kind of a win, and certainly back-to-back performances. But the New London reputation does precede itself. New London, a quality team. It'll be very interesting if Middletown holds on to a victory like this, if they stay at number 3 or if they slide down a little bit in the next New Haven Register and the day top 10.
So Chase Cook ready to kick it away for New London. Kick is short and it bounces at the 15. Omar's got it and is swallowed up at the 23-yard line. 6:06 to go. The euphoria that New London was experiencing after the great fortune on the botched punt attempt from Middletown, then the quick touchdown, and then that indecision. Are we going for 2? Are we not? The delay penalty, the blocked extra point. Huge deflation for the Whalers at the moment. I want to remind you, keep it here after the end of the ball game. We've got the Norwich Free Academy post-game show. And we're going to have a lot to talk about. Definitely keep it here on Game Day. Nowhere to go initially for Highsmith. He just keeps banging forward, gets a couple.
Oh, great job by Hunter Roman that time. Hunter Roman just blew up the edge. There was no edge. He just absolutely blew it up and forced Highsmith back inside. You see Coach Miranda, he's trying to rally these guys. He says, we're going to get this ball back. We have a chance to win this football game. But right now, with 5.5 minutes remaining, they cannot allow Middletown to get more than maybe 1 first down, or else they will be back up against it.
Need a big stop here. Their defense has come up with a few of them today against this powerful Middletown attack. Highsmith behind a wall of blockers, pushing forward across the 30. Maybe to the 32. Be a couple of yards short of the first down. Line to gain is the 34.
Big third down. So far, Middletown has done very well at this yardage. 3rd and short, they have had not very many problems picking up the first down. The only thing that has hurt them has been penalties. They're going to go to the power game. You're going to see Highsmith hold on to the ball behind that big offensive line. Can the Whalers make a stop?
3rd down and 3. They marked him down at the 31. Power package for Highsmith. He's met behind the line of scrimmage. It was Hunter Roman who got the penetration and took him down.
Well, we said Hunter Roman has the opportunity to be the premier defensive player, not just in the area, but in the state of Connecticut. He's got that kind of talent. He's got size, he's got speed, he's got great football instincts, and he's the son of one of the greatest defensive players in the history of New London High School, Juan Roman, the defensive coordinator, and big players make big plays in big spots.
What is Ook feeling here? Fields the snap this time. It's a low punt away. And it takes a Middletown bounce down to the 37-yard line of New London, where it is down by Middletown. 4:03 to go. New London has the ball back, but they're down a point versus Middletown. Well, the fans, the cheerleaders, everybody's enjoying this one. Hope you are too. On theday.com, you're watching Game Day. Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill with an entertaining ball game. It's been Dave Edgecombe with us on the sidelines as well. New London with another chance, but down by 1 at the hands of Middletown. 4:03 to go in the ball game. They've got it on their own 37-yard line. They give it to Orrin Park. And he is swallowed up and pushed back forward. Progress took him up to the 39, a gain of 2.
With this kind of time, you're trying to speed it up, but 3 minutes, almost 4, is plenty of time for the New London offense. What you can't have is bad penalties or a turnover in being in such a rush to try to get snaps off.
Clock ticking down to 3:35. Miranda out of the shotgun, straight drop. Looking deep. He had 2 men in the area. It's caught by Jelani Lucas. Inbound at the 31-yard line.
I'm not even sure if Lucas was the intended target. Miranda was going to let it go down the sideline the whole way. You see it, put it there, it was. And on one side of Garcia and the leaping Highsmith couldn't get it. Big play for the Whalers, knocking on the door.
1st and 10 from the 31. 3:23 to go. And movement at the line of scrimmage.
I think they're going to call that against New London, moving too early. New London's trying to say that the Middletown guys crossed the line first. Let's see what the officials say. They are saying
White.
That's
5
what it
yards
is.
from the spot. Repeat first down.
The Whaler kids were right. The Middletown kids jumped. And that is a big help because 1st and 5 means that all of the plays in the arsenal are available to the Whalers.
1st and 5 from the 16-yard line. Miranda gives to Park. Park in trouble behind the line of scrimmage, taken down back at the 30. Great play by Isaiah Tompkins to finish it off.
Isaiah Tompkins, who we have not called much tonight, but Coach Morello said he is the best linebacker in the state of Connecticut. But give the credit to Cody Carrillo. He's the one that forced Park to the outside, and now we've got 2nd and long for the Whalers.
Let's go down to the sidelines. Dave, what do you got?
Guys, I just saw several coaches and players come up to number 89, New London's freshman kicker, Garrett Burdick, just to keep him calm and keep him confident after missing that extra point. Let's see if it all comes down to him. That big chunk play they may not need him anymore, but let's see.
Complete to Ramos. Nowhere to go. A loss, a huge loss on the play. It was 2nd and 9, and now, well, they're going to lose 5, 6, maybe 7 yards there.
2 cracks at it right now. You're not going to punt, and you're out of field goal range, so you got 2 plays to get this 1st down. And in fairness to Burdick, he didn't miss the extra point. Homar made one of the most athletic plays you're ever going to see.
3rd down and 19. Miranda going up top again, looking for Lucas. He's got it off the deflection, down to the 5-yard line. Are you kidding me? New London is in business. 1st and goal.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe what I just saw. Miranda throwing into triple coverage, puts the ball out there. 2 Middletown players have the opportunity for the interception, and instead, Jelani on the spot. Jelani Lucas.
First and goal from the 5, 2:01 to go. Miranda gives to Park again, more penetration. That is Jamal Jackson rather, who drops him for a loss of 10 on a running play.
Wow, what a play by Jackson. But I got to be telling you, right now, the Whalers are in field goal range. We talked about Burdick, having that extra point block. If the Whalers don't go any farther right now, I think you might see a Burdick field goal attempt, which would be for this game.
Clock running inside a minute and a half. They give it to Park again, this time up the middle. He's got it back inside the 10, down to the 7. As the clock continues to run. Now 3rd and goal.
Down to a minute. The Whalers here are going to run this ball again, and if they don't get it, and it comes to a field goal by the young freshman kicker who just had his extra point blocked, can you imagine the pressure for a 13 or a 14-year-old young man? Wow, the Whalers are really hoping to score here.
48 seconds to go. 3rd and goal from the 8. Miranda gives to Park. Park off the left side, turns it up, and gets it down to the 5-yard line.
But by running that way, they bring it over to the hash. And if it is going to be a kick, it is going to be from the left hash. Not an easy kick for a young right-footed kicker. 4th and goal, but what are they going to do?
The clock is running. They're going to let the clock run down a bit. I guess you might as well let it go all the way down to 3 or 4 seconds before you take the timeout. Call it. And they do at 2.2 seconds left. The ball is marked on the 5-yard line, 4th and goal from the 5. As you pointed out, Casey, it is on the far left hash mark, which makes it an extreme angle from this close. You have a freshman kicker who had his extra point, which would have tied the game, blocked just a few moments ago.
Wow. Wow, the pressure that is on this young man right now is immense. They did not do him any favors running the ball to the left side. If they were going to run the ball up the middle, would have given him the equivalent of an extra point, but now he is going to be from the left hash. It's an extreme angle. He just had his last one blocked. It's 2 seconds. It is win or your season is done playoffs.
Now they'll put the spot down at the 12-yard line, making this a 22-yard field goal attempt. Freshman Garrett Burdick. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good! Oh! New London stuns Middletown, 23-21.
Garrett Burdick, you are the toast of Whalerville tonight. Enjoy it, young man. You just helped the Whalers upset the previously unbeaten Blue Dragons of Middletown. How about that? Almost blocked again. Homar again. They're lifting Garrett Burdick, number 89, a freshman. They're lifting him up. They want him. They're going to get him up on his shoulders. There he is, 22 yards. What a finish. I didn't think it could get any better than that, but wow.
An amazing victory for New London, and their streak continues. They are for real. After the 1-2 start, they've now reeled off 5 straight wins. They've knocked Middletown from the ranks of the undefeated, and there is your hero at the final gun.
A hug from Tommy Major. Oh,
might be tears of joy there.
I think so. The jubilation right there. Let's again set that up. You are a freshman kicker. Your last one was just blocked. You're from the hard, tough hash for the game. If you lose, you're out of the playoffs. You're facing an undefeated number 3 ranked team. And what does he do? He drills it high and right through the uprights, and it was almost blocked again. Homar again.
They got penetration again. No
almost
question.
Got it. Unbelievable. I thought it was going to be blocked, but instead, Garrett Burdick, freshman kicker for New London, 23-21. What a ball game.
And what does this do to Middletown? We know it rockets New London up. Here's another look. Look at the trajectory of this ball. Homar was in there in the same position he was in. Look how high this is. Straight up and straight down, and more importantly, straight through.
Dario Highsmith coming from one side, Jacob Homar coming from the other. They both had a chance at it, but instead, the hugs on the field of the Whaler sideline tell you the result. If you're Middletown, you're not done. You're not obviously undefeated anymore, but the one loss doesn't hurt you as far as making the playoffs. Middletown will still make the playoffs if they win out a young Garrett Burdick.
Well, Dave Edgecombe is with the hero, Garrett Burdick. Dave, take it away.
Garrett, you woke up this morning. Did you think that this is how it was going to end?
Not at all, no. Nah, not at all. Not one bit.
I imagine this is pretty much it for you, right? This, as a kicker, this has got to be good. Tell me what you're feeling right now.
Right now, I mean, it's just awesome. It's a great feeling. Thank you. It's a great feeling. I love my team. I love everyone. My coaches, Coach Curry, I love him. My favorite coach in the whole world, and I just wanted to say thank you.
And I saw a lot of them come up to you and give you a little pep talk beforehand just to calm you down a little bit. It looked like it worked.
Yeah, it worked a lot. Thank you.
All right, young man, go ahead, go and celebrate. Back to you, Mark.
All right, thanks very much, Dave. What a great story here at Canamela Field, New London. The thrilling victory at the final gun, 23-21 over Middletown. We'll be back with much more on the Norwich Free Academy postgame show in a moment. We are in the aftermath of a thrilling 23-21 victory for New London over Middletown on game day on theday.com. Dave Edgecombe is down on the sideline with one of New London's heroes. Dave, take it away.
Thanks, Mark. I got Jelani Lucas. Now, you had a couple of big catches down the sideline. Take us through what was going on through your head on those plays.
Coach usually just tells us, focus on the ball, use drill, which is just watch the ball and hit your hands. So I went up and got it. High emotions, obviously. We just work on our perfection in practice with that.
And you said it went during the break that it was a emotional game. We saw the kicker, Garrett, very emotional. Take us through some of the emotions, the range of emotions that this game kind of went through.
Oh, well, first of all, we started out high energy throughout the game because we knew it was a big team, ranked number 3 in the state. We had to take them down. So going through my mind, it was just, like, it's indescribable. The ball was up, caught it, the kick was up, it was amazing. To be honest, we won the game, we're all happy, we're excited. We're coming to film tomorrow, see what we did wrong, and just do what we got to do better.
And the season's still intact. You still got guys very much at a playoff berth still intact. Great game, Jelani.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Dave. So many unbelievable stories and incredible plays that the entire game hinged on, and New London made one more play. Right now, Dave Edgecombe is with Sal Morello, the head coach for Middletown. Dave?
Thanks, Mark. Coach, not exactly an easy way to lose a football game. What did they do in the second half that kind of swing the momentum back in their direction?
I just think they played very well. They played hard. All the credit to them. They did a good job. We got to go back to the drawing board, and we got to, we know what it feels like now. We got to get better. We had a couple unfortunate, penalties. They're part of the game. It is what it is, and it's something that we've been with our kids all year. It's sort of been a problem with us. We've been able to get away, but not in a game like this, and against a team like this. It's just all the credit to New London. Did a great job, coaches and players.
Now it's just one loss. You guys, your season by no means over. What do you say to your guys to get them to rebound back for next week's game?
We got to just get right back to work on Monday. There's plenty to play for still. Plenty to play for. So, I mean, I said, we can do two things now. We can keep our heads down and dwell over this, or look back at the year and say this was the turning point right here. So it's up to the kids, it's up to the coaches to get back to work.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
All right,
Back to you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave, and thank you, Coach Morello. They've got Simsbury on the road next week to try and regroup. We'll take a break here on GameDayOnTheDay.com and come back with much more from Canamela Field and the celebration of New London's thrilling victory.
Coach.
Well, the celebration continues here on GameDayOnTheDay.com. There's your hero for the moment, Garrett Burdick, the game-winning field goal. Dave Edgecombe back down on the sideline with Dwayne and Danny Miranda. Dave?
That's right, and with a couple of Mirandas who probably couldn't be happier right now. First, Danny, a couple of big-time throws down the sideline. Take us through what was going on down that final drive.
I mean, it's a miracle. That's all I can say. It's a miracle. I'm the happiest boy alive right now. I'm the happiest boy alive.
And, Coach, son on the team, this is getting interviewed after the game at a big win like that. This has got to be the tops.
Yesterday, after we do a Bible study on Thursday after practice before pasta dinner, but we said, there's been a lot of talk in the paper about fathers and sons, and they have twins on both sides of the ball. But what we told the kids is our coaching staff feels everybody on our team is sons, and we're all family. And that's one thing that we have up on that team. They might have twins on the left and the right, but we got family all across the board. And I'm just so happy for those guys. I'm so happy for this guy. I'm so happy for everybody else, all the seniors that got to experience this joy and these tears that feel so good.
Not a bad way for your home opener to go.
Not at all. Not at all.
Got to remember that one for a long, long time. And I'm just so proud of these young men. I really am.
Now, I saw, leading up to the kick, I saw a bunch of coaches and players come up to Garrett. What do they say? What do you say to a young kid like that in a situation like that?
Absolutely nothing at all. You just say, keep doing what you're doing. I had all the confidence in the world that he was going to make the kick. I was just hoping for the protection and the snap, and the snap was a little high. Melquan Gomez did a nice job getting it down, and the protection was just there enough, and he got it up and got it over. And I just saw, within that 5 seconds, I just saw a lot go through my mind, and real happy for these guys.
Now, Danny, real quick, I know the final drive was big, but throughout the game, a lot of big-time plays.
Yep.
What was the key for you guys in terms of swinging the momentum back to you guys?
Having confidence. We all had confidence. We were all prepared coming into the game, and we executed. We executed well.
Not bad for your first home game starting as a quarterback here.
Not bad at all.
All right, back to you, Mark.
All right, thanks very much, Dave. A tremendous story being told tonight from Canamela Field in New London, where the Whalers of New London High pulled off a stunning upset over previously unbeaten Middletown, 23-21, on a Garrett Burdick 22-yard, that is, field goal at the final gun. We'll be back to wrap it up in a moment. New London victorious 23-21 over Middletown in a thrilling game on GameDayOnTheDay.com. Mark Brown along with Casey O'Neill, Dave Edgecombe helping us out on the sideline. We're still taking the deep breath. We're coming down after what's been one of the most thrilling games that you could ever want in high school football. The home team wins today. Their incredible rise from 1-2 continues. And what a tremendous ball game this was.
Man, I'm looking forward to rewatching the game on theday.com because so much happened. I'm still processing all of what we just saw. The momentum swings, the turnovers, the penalties, the improbable catches on the sidelines by Jelani Lucas. And then, freshman kicker at the buzzer to win the game on their opening night at this field. I have watched football games here for, I know it's hard to believe, but over 30 years. And this is as exciting a football game as I can ever remember at Canamela Field. This is the kind of thing they're going to talk about for a long time.
Absolutely. It's what high school football is all about. Let's go back to the first quarter when Middletown got this thing off to a roaring start. It was all Middletown, in fact. Yamal Jackson had a huge 43-yard run that would set up their first score. And, of course, you go to Dario Highsmith when you want a touchdown.
Yeah, Highsmith was big early, plowing behind that big offensive line. 2 quick scores, got Middletown up right away. Highsmith just showing the power, the elusiveness, everything we had heard about.
After the score, an inadvertent onside kick was not fielded, stayed in bounds. Middletown recovered it. Hunter Belzo, the heads-up play. And so before New London ever got their hands on the ball, they were down 14-0. They do some things, though, to try to rectify that. Orrin Park had a nice run to get things going for them. And then getting their first score of the game was a 16-yard touchdown pass. Miranda found Jose Garcia to pull within 14-7. That was the score at halftime. But we were really just getting things going. The second half was even more thrilling than the first. As we look at going up, this was just before halftime. In fact, the interception thrown by Dario Highsmith that brought an end to the first half. In the second half, Highsmith got his 3rd touchdown run of the game, this one 34 yards, and it looked like Middletown was right back on schedule.
Yeah, Highsmith with great vision that time. We really thought it was possibly over, but then New London went to that wildcat formation, and Nico Ramos broke to the outside, a 60-yard touchdown run. Ramos racing everyone to the sidelines and got New London right back into it.
That was in the third quarter, 21-14. And then Ramos, the next possession on the first play, he took another direct snap and he went for it down the field to Garcia. It was intercepted by Jacob Homar, who made some unbelievable plays today. But this was maybe where it turned. A botched punt deep in their own territory, up by 7. Middletown gives the ball up on the 15-yard line. And then Miranda would find Jelani Lucas for what we thought would be the tying touchdown. But this happened. Jacob Homar blocking the extra point, preserving a 1-point lead for Middletown with just over 6 minutes left. But then, at the final play of the game, freshman kicker Garrett Burdick drilling the game-winning field goal. And before that field goal happened, of course, a couple of big pass hookups between Miranda and Jelani McCoy to keep the dream alive. New London pays it off with a tremendous performance. Not only did they win, look what they do. They go yard for yard with one of the best teams in the state.
And no passing yards for Middletown. And Coach Morello said that as good as they were running the football, they could not have no passing yards. They had to be able to get something through the air. That didn't happen. 300 yards on the ground is impressive, but New London better balanced, 280 yards, very close. And in the end, that freshman kicker, Garrett Burdick, with a big kick. You heard Coach Miranda reference Melquan Gomez, the holder, getting it down on a good hold. Gomez, only a freshman, putting down that very improbable kick at the end. So a team effort by a couple of young kids, freshman kicker, freshman holder, for that final game-winning field goal.
So it's been a tremendous story this year for New London as they start 1-2. They've now won 5 straight games. They were on the outside looking in for playoff contention in Class L. This may now thwart them back into that picture.
They still have a couple tough games left, including finishing on Thanksgiving Day with one of the best teams in the state, Norwich Free Academy, which is certainly going to be no easy task. But if New London can win out, they'll be in the Class L playoffs. And Middletown, now they have to win out for them to be. And interestingly enough, it's not out of the realm of possibility. We could see a rematch of these two teams in the Class L playoffs.
I'm up for that. That's going to do it for our game day football schedule here on theday.com, but you can look forward to much more, including basketball game day coverage. That first broadcast will be December 18th when East Lyme pays a visit to Waterford. Once again, our final score from New London. The Whalers win it 23-21 on a last-second field goal for their 5th straight win. For Casey O'Neill, Dave Edgecombe, and our entire crew, I'm Mark Brown saying so long from Game Day on theday.com. And what a game day it was. A Friday night with frigid temperatures and 2 tremendous football teams. And as good as they were, they played even better. Good night, everybody.